You want to know what percentage of Democrats side with Iran? 40%. Nearly half of Democrats are cheering for Iran. Let that sink in.
The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 9 on AM 560. The Answer.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-884-1012 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-884-1012. That's 800-884-1012. What do you have to lose? Call 800-884-1012. Again, 800-884-1012.
This is Ed Morrissey of HotAir.com for Town Hall. Donald Trump finally got his response from Iran. Will he act on it? Last week, Trump had sent a 14-point framework to mediators in Islamabad for reaching a peace accord with Iran. Trump insisted that the IRGC surrender its highly enriched uranium, agree to verifiably end its pursuit of nuclear weapons, and stop attacking international shipping in the Strait of Hormuz. Tehran demanded that the U.S. recognize the strait as Iranian sovereign territory and pay war reparations. Trump responded by calling the IRGC's terms as stupid and totally unacceptable. Yet Trump also insisted that a deal could be reached with the regime. That is an unfortunate illusion, something Trump maintains despite all evidence to the contrary. Iran violated its terms almost immediately in the strait, and Iran continues to threaten the strait. The ceasefire is dead. Trump either has to follow through on consequences or cut bait and walk away with Iran's regime nearly as dangerous as ever. The decision point has arrived.
How can you get from here to there? We've got the answer from the AM 560 Traffic Center.
There are no problems on the Edens, Montrose to Lake Cook Road, the Kennedy outbound 40 from the Jane Byrne interchange to the airport, Tighten Those Express, North Avenue to Irving Park. Eisenhower 55 to Wolf Road, hour and 10 out to 390. Accident on the left shoulder at Damon, and one on the exit ramp to Higgins. Stevenson, DuSable Lakeshore Drive to 355. It is an hour. Dan Ryan outbound 30 minutes. Express Stop and Go 33rd to the Skyway. Heavy along DuSable Lakeshore Drive and the Tri-State, both north and south. Jane Addams, Reagan 355. Those are moving along nicely. This report is a service of the AM 560 Advantage. Membership has its privileges, including early access to event tickets, exclusive contest opportunities, and special members-only content. Join today at 560theanswer.com/join. From the AM 560 Traffic Center, I'm Jill Urchek.
Now, your official weather forecast from the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center.
Tonight will be clear and chilly with a low of 44. On Thursday, expect sunny to partly cloudy skies with a high of 67. Thursday night will be partly cloudy with a couple of showers late and a low of 53. Friday may see a shower in some areas in the morning. Otherwise, it will be partly sunny and breezy with a high of 73. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios. This hour of the Shaun Thompson Show is sponsored exclusively by DonleyAuctions.com. They need your guns. Sell for top dollar. DonleyAuctions.com.
Portions of the following show may be pre-recorded.
From the streets of Melrose Park to the trading floor of the Merc, he's fought for every dollar he's ever earned. And now, with personal liberty and our system of capitalism under assault in America, he's here to seize back our rights from the government. With a cigar in one hand and a copy of the Declaration of Independence in the other, he's Shaun Thompson. And this is the Shaun Thompson Show.
Some folks are born made to wave the flag.
If you're old enough to remember the American communists in the 60s, two professors, one ugly as a dog's ass, Frances Fox Piven, and her unlucky husband, couldn't get the room dark enough. Can we get it darker in here? These two communist scum came up with a plan to overwhelm the welfare system in order to take control of everything. And it worked, especially in Democrat areas. Fast forward to Barack Obama. Scandal-ridden fraud. Very absent legacy of who he was. Where were you born? Can't figure it out. Where did you grow up? Kind of in Indonesia. Indonesia? Your mother, trampola that she was. 17, knocked up by an African exchange student who had a wife. No big deal. Muslim, they like that. 1, 2, 3, 7 wives, gives a rip. Half of them are under 18 anyway. Half of them are under 10. However, it's interesting when you really look at this whole thing. They all hate America. The third world Islamo-Nazis, where Barack Obama pretends he was raised, who knows? His father, oil man of Indonesia, Lolo Sutoro, and he was schooled by another communist, Marshall Davis, right? Going off of memory. Another commie from Chirac, which is why Barack Obama lived in Indonesia, went to Occidental and Colombia, could have lived anywhere. He came here, what do you think it was? Because he couldn't do without ass-face Michelle, allegedly, with those big broad shoulders, those giant feet. He loves a big foot. Find it very attractive. And he likes a woman built like Patrick Ewing with the same profile. He likes it a lot. So he came to Chicago. Is that what you think? He came to Chicago because Chicago is the creator of cut me in or cut it out. And they did it with the short and the pants Irish mafia. And now they did it to our country. Because when we talk about these scandals, I'm going to be very clear. They are created to rob the money, to steal the money and add to the debt to bankrupt the nation. That's why they exist. Optional practical training is a scam and a fraud. $4 billion a year, they tell you. That's $4,000 million a year. And the whole thing is a fraud. It's like the Minnesota feeding our future. It's the same thing. And the greatest weapon that allowed the implementation of the fastest amount of debt in the shortest amount of time was after they stole the 2020 election with then they went into high gear, which is why today, when a whistleblower from the government says COVID was financed by America, pickle-face rat bastard Fauci, and the rest of the NIH used a money laundering scheme to create a bioweapon, to release it on America, to shut it down and flood the system with money. Not one Democrat, are you listening to me? Not an elected Democrat was in the room. Not one.
Or you could see over the left shoulder of Senator Ron Johnson the empty seats of Democrats, and we can show. I mean, look at that room. And even James Erdman, who is the whistleblower witness today, was asked about, and I believe it was Bernie Moreno who asked him this, how does that make you feel knowing that those Democrats aren't there? And he says that, of course, I wish that they were. I mean, you want to.
But they are the co-conspirators to not Cloward and Piven, to not communism, to the thief, who always was a thief, Joe Biden. His dog sister, his simpleton brother, and his crack-smoking degenerate son. The other son, too. He got away with it. He died. Fraud that he was. All created to steal our money. So when I tell you about a program that nobody knew existed, the entire program has been set up to steal money. Kind of like a story that just broke while I was getting ready for the show. Enemy within. The Vera Institute, which is funded by George Soros, pretends to be one of those legal institutes. I believe the hub is right there in Shirakistan, used to be our great city, awarded $636 million for illegal aliens and their lawyers to perpetrate lawfare, to defend the illegals. And that's our money. These rat illegals that came here on a burro selling fentanyl. They're good people. Then why couldn't you do it the way the 36 million did it, who came here legally? And the answer is they wouldn't have been given anonymity, which is easy to steal our money. And that's why even the student visas for the Islamo-Nazis in the Middle East, for the Chinese communists in China, for the scourge around the world that are trying to take down America, it's all fraud. OPT.
Information provided to DHS. Under the Biden administration, the fraud escalated even further. Today, we are announcing that we have identified over 10,000 foreign students who claim to be working for highly suspect employers. And that's
so now think about this. 10,000 jamokes. Put 100 kids in a classroom in Chicago and see how fast these commie morons go on strike. Let alone 10,000 people. They all were in on it. All 10,000, and that's not even the worst part. The American scum, known as Democrats, that set up the fronts to facilitate this scam, that signed the lease, that created the LLCs, they knew they were stealing money. The entities were created to steal the money.
That's just among the top 25 OPT employers. This is only the tip of the iceberg. Over the past year, we've dramatically expanded our oversight of OPT and can report that we've found fraud nationwide. HSI agents have visited problematic OPT employer work sites in Virginia, Texas, Georgia, Illinois, New York, New Jersey, North Carolina, and Florida.
But only in the Democrat counties. Every county, every town where these ret frauds exist, like Dalton and Harvey, Cal City, pick an area in Chicago, all protected by the infrastructure of the mafia, known as a Democrat municipality, Democrat governance, Democrat investigators, Democrat judges. That's how you get away with it. Cut me in or cut it out. And not a one of them ever worked a day in their useless life.
Many of these employers include NGOs engaged in suspicious activity. We've discovered empty buildings and locked doors at addresses where hundreds of foreign students are allegedly employed.
You ever work with a Democrat megamind? The worst fracking employee on every job site. Big fat ass, waiting for break. Oh, you must be one of them Democrats. Sloth.
In many cases, multiple OPT employers claim to operate from the same address, but none actually lease the facility. We found small residential addresses listed as work sites for hundreds of foreign students.
See, now what I'd like to do is have a law. Everybody who is convicted, everybody whose evidence has dropped, list their voting history, or you'll never stop it. This isn't just the scum, of which there's millions and millions and millions. This is the policy creators. 535 simpletons, congressmen and senators, create these policies at the direction of sometimes a president married to a big, ugly broad, just to steal the money. Billions and billions just to steal the money, producing nothing for us, the taxpayers.
Yet no employees were present. When someone does answer the door, their statements are inconsistent, or they claim no knowledge of the business. We're also seeing financial red flags.
You talking to me? That's the you talking to me angle. I don't know what you're talking about. Dinner's burning. Scum.
Flags. Many alleged employers display clear fraud indicators, including tax liens, civil lawsuits, collections, and breaches of contract. And we are seeing...
Yet the IRS never seizes their asset. Just a waitress on her second job to the beauty parlor to shampoo heads. She's got a tax lien. But these Democrats scum. They get away with it, right, Lois Lerner? Who directed Lois Lerner? Was that Barack Obama? Big, ugly wife. Ugly!
Suspicious financial transactions moving cash across multiple countries. We've discovered that numerous businesses failed to maintain basic employment records for the foreign students, raising serious tax reporting concerns.
Own a cigar store in Elmhurst. Go ahead. Every month, how many did you do? Send your money to the state. Send your money to the county. Send your money. How come these scumbags running a scam? What are you guys doing? You busy? You at the casino? I'd say, are you at the strip joint? But I don't think these Democrats are even heterosexual anymore.
Some employers claim to have offshore human resources and payroll personnel. Oh. And finally, we're finding what we call phantom employees. We've identified foreign students who obtained work authorization documents through OPT, but never showed up for work at the sites they claimed.
Proving beyond the shadow of a doubt They're Democrats. And you remember Joe Biden? He always wanted to throw in the tuition. And the drinks are on the house. Always throw the tuition in. A third of Americans go to college. Yet they were going to pay for everything. Why not? You were already created this policy to steal in the name of aliens, visa holders, and Islamo-Nazis who hate us, dressed up in costumes like they were selling camels with 3 humps.
While we can't share details of ongoing investigations, I can assure you that more information is forthcoming and that we are taking this fraud very seriously. With that, I'll turn it over to the Acting Executive Associate Director for HSI, Mr. John Conlon, who can speak in greater detail. We're
going to go to John Conlon, but I want to show you how the enemy governments, the ghetto governments, are in on it. Because in these, especially when they're doing that Aloha snack bar, all busted. They have no industry. They don't even have, you can't even rent a car in any of these joints. But Somalia's my favorite because Somalia has been in on this scam since Ilyana Omar, also known as General Omar, was killing Somalians that started the whole fracking thing. Why you got to let them in. They're in a civil war. And now you got a bunch of first cousins marrying each other, developing kids that you could order a hamburger out of their head. Big Jack in the Box head on you people, huh? Dummy? Here's how they launder the money.
Congressman Warren Davidson is calling for it.
The term Somalia for many people in the U.S. has gained traction for all the wrong reasons, which is extremely unfortunate. And that's because of the fraud that's happening there. Now, my team has been covering it closely, and they did a report a few days ago about how that fraud was used to fund the current president. And I'll let you expand on it because you know it more than myself. So I'm just going to give you a very limited understanding that I have, and then you educate me and my audience as well. Is that money, all the fraud money in the U.S. was used to fund the current president, who's delayed an election, who's brutally cracking down on protesters, who's corrupt. That's from my understanding. If I'm wrong, correct me. But I would love you to kind of...
He's talking about in that dung hole, Somalia.
Glad I am. So can you just break down on, the Somalian fraud that citizen journalists like Nick Shirley were able to expose, and how that's what's happening in Somalia that the rest of the world's not paying attention to, a country that is being neglected by the global community, and how they're connected?
Thank you for asking a really legitimate question, and I have been doing for the last 4 years. I'm the only member of parliament had a guts to stand up corruption from the day one. And I didn't just only do hearsay type of investigation. I did a thorough investigation, collecting real data and analyzing. And let me explain to you, there are 2 types of fraud in Somalia. One is Hassan came to power, not the first time. This is the second time.
Hassan is the current president.
Current president. He won election 2012. So people had a hope on him because well educated person, he used to work NGOs, everybody had a hope. But what people now understanding is that he was the most corrupted leader Somalia ever had. And Minneapolis turned it into the capital of Somalia abroad. And Hassan enabled these people in Minneapolis. And that's why when you see fraud, it started from Minneapolis of the existence of Hassan, the people who associated with him. And now it is like a story being added to the corruption of 2012 to 16. Now it is more than, 1,000% more. And I will explain to you step by step. Right now, current members of his cabinet are also American citizens who are part of his cabinet. And some of them, they live in Minneapolis. And I can give you an example. Minister of State for Foreign Affairs, Ali Umar, Minister of Planning, which controls the whole development projects and all the international development money and humanitarian aid coming is under his portfolio. And then you have the deputy speaker, number 1, a lady who comes from Minneapolis, who had what they call a nephew married to the daughter of the president, and now he became a minister.
Do you understand what he's saying? Megamind, he is saying American citizens are in the cabinet of the president of Somalia, given diplomatic immunity, given diplomatic passports, even though they're here as temporary protected status. They're the ones at the tip of the spear of the recipients of our money. They take the money with their diplomatic passport and they bring it in cash. And they bring it back to Somalia. And we own that country. So, the moral of the story is, Somalia's mine. Now let's take it. 312-642-5600.
Call Shaun now. 312-642-5600.
For months, you've been hearing ads about Virago immune support. I have to tell you, this stuff is for real. I had an occasion to not be feeling well on a remote broadcast. I took it, and it is the real deal. And the stronger your immune system, the stronger your body defends against diseases, viruses, and everything else. That's why Dr. Huber created Virago, a liquid immune booster supplement. You take it daily. It's a blend of 23 nutraceuticals working in synergy to maximize effects and boost your immune system. It's the nutraceutical cocktail for an immune system, antiviral, anti-inflammatory, antioxidant. Virago even protects your heart, your kidneys, your liver, all in a unique liquid supplement for better absorption. Do yourself and your spouse a favor. Order a bottle of Virago today online at myvirago.com. That's myvirago.com. Use coupon code IMMUNE to save 30%. Maha and Virago, making America healthy again.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
ZipRecruiter. Raj Shah, host of Unleash Your Wealth.
You know, there are a lot of clients and people coming in from the radio into our office saying, I don't want to lose any money. I need to protect the money I have saved over the last 20 or 30 years, where you have strategies where you can structure an income stream where it has an inflation protection so that as inflation, if it continues to go up, your income will go up.
Unleash Your Wealth, Saturday at 7 a.m. and 2 p.m. on AM 560, The Answer.
Most investments today feel like second jobs. Real estate, you're a landlord. Stocks, you're a day trader. Crypto, you're a full-time researcher. You've got a life to live. Your investment should help you live it. That's why more Americans are choosing gold. Noble Gold has helped thousands protect their future with real physical gold. Visit noblegoldinvestments.com to get your free wealth protection kit. That's noblegoldinvestments.com. Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals, including gold, involves risks. Consult with your tax attorney or financial professional before making an investment decision.
AM 560. The Answer.
Dr. Abdeliha Hashi Abib. That's who you're listening to. He is a member of the Federal Parliament of Somalia. And he is in hiding because they will saw his head off like he was a Christian.
So they are, when this money that they're making here in the United States with the daycare and fraud and with the Medicare fraud and all these things, they're not carrying cash through the Hawala only. What they're doing is that the money they have here in the United States has been moved to Mogadishu without going to the bank. What they're doing is that this elite, Hassan and his inner circles, are getting cash in the United States, and the money, the businessmen, people who fraud the United States government, are get paid in Mogadishu. So there's no financial transaction through the banks.
And they're buying real estate, which is ours now. And you don't keep that, Megamind. You don't touch stuff in the ghetto. You flip it to some other Islamo-Nazi at top dollar. Johnny boy, Oak Park. John?
John? Oh, hello.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Very good, bud.
I'll say Ilhan Omar is a fraud. Tim Walz is a fraud. And Donald Trump will make America great again. Have a great day.
You too, John. We love the young audience. We love it. I didn't want to, he's young. Don't want to depress him and tell him all Democrats, Johnny boy, if they're a Democrat, you're young. I should have told him that. If you know they're a Democrat, or you can figure out they are a Democrat, or they admit to, it is a confession. They are either a moron or they're in on it. Barry from the Merc.
Good afternoon, my friend. First and foremost, condolences to our friend Rich, the show.
Yeah. That was a big one.
Yeah, I enjoyed listening to him.
Yeah,
so it's off topic a little bit from Somalia, but still. You got Governor Chubby complaining about this, that, and the other oil prices like we did something wrong. And I got a little message for him. You have the power to suspend all the additional taxes that you put on gas and oil and drop this stuff about $1.50 temporarily. And in the meantime, then you tighten up your purse strings and don't have 16 guys standing around a hole on a Sunday afternoon at time and a half.
Barry, that's why
done.
That's why it's not.
Business owners get things done.
But Barry, that's why it's not different. It may be different topics, but it's the same principle. It's always about keeping down the honest American, keeping him down, raising his costs. That's the game. That's the equality they promised to deliver, equality through poverty and feudalism. That's why they don't do it. And that fat pig never earned $1 in his life. He did it when Joe Biden was president. President Shat-in-the-Pants. When President Shat-in-the-Pants was there, he took the thing off, and they hit up. And remember this, Barry, when he sold the oil reserves, he gave away the oil reserves not to us, to China.
The House has passed bipartisan legislation that would ban the export of oil from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve to Chinese companies. Given that oil has flowed to China from that reserve during both this administration and the previous one, is that the type of reform that the president would potentially support?
So look, I think this is a little bit of what the Secretary was talking about just moments ago. This bill addresses a non-issue. We're very clear on that.
So the House was Republican then. They passed the bill. How about you stop giving the oil reserves to the fracking Chinese scumbag? And the one who got the job because of her sexual proclivities, and she was a good commie, she said, no, that bill's nothing. See, Barry, when you understand, we're not arguing nuanced differences. They're traitors to our country. They're traitors, and they want to steal your money. You know why, Barry? Because you're at the Merc, and they think you got money. Now, whether you paid 50% in taxes or not is irrelevant. You have more than them, and they're going to take you down a notch. Thank you very much. We'll be back.
What if everything you've been told about government, health care, poverty, energy, and even science is a carefully constructed lie? In Shaun Thompson's new book, What If It's All a Lie? Shaun Thompson dismantles the myths at the core of modern America. This is the book the ruling class doesn't want you to read. And once you do, you won't see the world the same way again. Order your copy today at ShaunThompsonShow.com/book. In his new movie, The Dragon's Prophecy, Dinesh D'Souza brings the new Middle East into focus with a message of perseverance, faith, and a shared global destiny.
Could the fate of the world, of humanity itself, be somehow tied to this place?
At long last, we have peace in the Middle East.
Israel and Christians are coming together in a way they have never been before, since the book of Acts.
But is this the end of Hamas and radical Islam? What does the Bible say?
We have to become fighters in the spirit for God. We don't accept what the enemy wants to do with our culture. We don't accept what he wants to do with the nation. If we keep fighting, we win.
Powerful, prophetic, a must-see movie based on Jonathan Cahn's international bestseller. The Dragon's Prophecy combines history and scripture with faith, justice, and renewal. The Dragon's Prophecy, a new film by Dinesh D'Souza. Now available on Amazon, YouTube, and iTunes.
Looking for a great real estate agent? Someone who can help you sell your home fast and for top dollar? Go to Ready.com, REDY.com. Because on Ready, agents will pay you just for the opportunity to sell your home. Yeah, on Ready, agents will pay you for your listing. Thousands of dollars up front just for a chance to sell your home. And it's easy. Just go to Ready.com, enter your address, and when you want to sell. In just 48 hours, the best local agents are competing on Ready to be your agent. with cash offers up front just to win your business. Hey, your listing is valuable. Don't give it away. Make those agents earn it. Get paid to pick your real estate agent. Go to ready.com or call 800-885-REDY. 800-885-READY.
You know, I was going to drive. I was all excited about driving. And I get to the lecture. You can't drive. I like to go to Alabama for ribs. Let's make some fun. Not in a hurry to get back to the Democrat stronghold. And then I realized I'm not going to be in the Democrat stronghold. I'm going to be at Gobert's Farm in Pingree Grove with you. So I'm flying back now. We get back in a hurry. Can't wait to go there. It's happening next Tuesday on the 19th. You better be there. And all you got to do is go to 560theanswer.com/cigar. 560theanswer.com/cigar. Next Tuesday at Gobert's in Pingree Grove. The nicest people. They have great food, too. Open air. You don't have to smoke to go. Alex Marlowe, the guy who picked up the mantle of Andrew Breitbart and brought it to where it is today. Incredible. You hear him before me. And the nerd is going to be dressed with the vest. He's got at least 3 women who think they're on a date with him. Be there. Dan Proft, myself, Alex Marlowe, and you for Cigar Night. Corey, you better be there. You'll be first when we get back. And all you have to do in the meantime is go to 560theanswer.com/cigar. 560theanswer.com/cigar. Sponsored in part by Liberty Cigar, Virago, and Donley Auctions. By the way, Randy Donley will be there. You got questions about anything you got in your garage, attic, and basement? He'll answer it for you. Tell you how to sell it. DonleyAuctions.com. It's all of us, and I love that. So I hope I see you on Tuesday night. And we're doing the show, so come early. Corey, when we get back, you're first, after Mike Scott.
Clouds and sun with a high near 59 this afternoon. I'm Mike Scott in the QC Kinetics newsroom. The Chicago Fire's new soccer stadium being built in the city's South Loop is now tied to a Chicago area iconic brand. The Fire and McDonald's announcing a naming rights partnership. Multiple people are suing over an explosion at an apartment building in Des Plaines last week. The blast happened May 6 at a 3-story apartment building. President Trump is in China meeting with Chinese leadership. China is Iran's biggest trading partner, and their close relationship is expected to result in some pointed discussions between the president and Xi Jinping. The Illinois Department of Public Health is investigating a potential hantavirus case in an Illinois resident. The resident lives in Winnebago County and isn't linked to the cruise ship. Illinois has not seen a case of hantavirus since March of 2025. The news service of American Beam and Steel, structural repair licensed contractors for your home and business. Search for American Beam and Steel online. Schedule your consultation directly with the owner, Mark. American Beam and Steel. Your next news update comes your way at 5. Continuous news, traffic, and weather coverage at 560theanswer.com. Now with a check of the roads, here is Jill Urchek.
Good afternoon. Out to the roads we go. Spur eastbound, tight spur to Willow. The inbound Eden's heavy, though, at 40 minutes. On the Kennedy, 45 minutes out to O'Hare from the Jane Byrne interchange with tie-ups in those express division to Irving Park. Outbound Eisenhower up to an hour and 20. That is Jim Morgan to First Avenue from an earlier accident. Stevenson outbound up to an hour due Sabo Lakeshore Drive out to 355. There is a crash reported inbound Ryan at the Skyway. 22 minutes and 32 out. Tighten the Express, 35th out to the Skyway. Heavy along DuSable Lakeshore Drive either way. The Tri-State also a bit tight both directions. Not too bad, though. It is open along the Jane Addams, the Reagan, 355 also in pretty decent shape. Bishop Ford slowing down inbound 111th into the Ryan. Outbound tight from the Ryan down to 103rd. From the AM 560 Traffic Center, I'm Jill Urchek.
Now, your official weather forecast from the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center.
Tonight will be clear and chilly with a low of 44. Expect Thursday to bring a mix of sun and clouds with a high of 67. Thursday night will be partly cloudy with a chance of a few late showers and a low of 53. On Friday, there may be a shower in some areas in the morning, but overall it will be partly sunny and breezy with a high of 73. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
Hair Volume from New Nordic will make your hair look thick and healthy. Hair Volume is available online at Amazon and newnordicusa.com or in the hair care aisle at your local CVS.
Everywhere you turn, it's plus, plus, plus. Retail chains, streamers, even our phones come with plus. And to think it all started with Hasselus mattress, because nobody has more plus than us. Right now at Hasselus, get a Queen Beauty Sleep by Beauty Rest Elm Cove A mattress. Others sell it for $1,459, but Hasselus has it for just $794. Plus, through Monday, you'll also get a free adjustable base. Plus, a huge selection of Beauty Rest, Sealy Posturepedic, and other big name brands. Plus, free financing. Plus, free next day delivery and setup. Plus, free haul away and disposal of your old mattress. Plus, employee-free showrooms. Get all this, plus a whole lot more when you shop at Hasselus Mattress. Woo! All these pluses have me feeling nonplussed. Save big on Sealy Posturepedic, Beauty Rest, and more every day from 9 to 9. Find an employee-free showroom near you or shop online at Hasselus.com.
Do you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt or personal loans? With credit card debt at all-time highs, Debt Relief Advocates is urgently notifying consumers of debt relief now being made available, designed to aid consumers with out-of-control credit card debt. Those who qualify and enroll for this relief program will only have to pay back a fraction of what they owe. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. This is a relief program that credit card companies would rather you not know about, as it ends your debt nightmare and saves you lots of money. Consumers owing at least $10,000 in credit card debt or personal loans can now take advantage of this debt relief as the cost of living skyrockets. Debt Relief Advocates has established a relief hotline for you to call to learn what debt reduction you may qualify for, so don't wait. For this free information, call the Relief Hotline at 800-522-2174. 800-522-2174. 800-522-2174.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios. This hour of The Shaun Thompson Show is sponsored exclusively by DonleyAuctions.com. Sports memorabilia, movie posters, rock and roll, get top dollar for your collection. DonleyAuctions.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
The Holiday Inn Chicago Midway, located at 7353 South Cicero Avenue, hit the market for $20.5 million in March of 2024. But here's what they're not telling you up front. This hotel has been operating as an illegal immigrant shelter. Since 2023, Chicago has been leasing hotels like this one to house thousands of illegals. The Holiday Inn near Midway became one of the major shelter sites.
That's how they tell you tourism is up. Do you get it? And then they're going to charge the hotels tax because it was funny money. And that's why not a one rat thief known as a Democrat, not one, went to a meeting where a whistleblower said the whole thing was manufactured.
Or you could see over the left shoulder of Senator Ron Johnson the empty seats of Democrats, and we could show. I mean, look at that room. And even James Erdman, who is the whistleblower witness today, was asked about, and I believe it was Bernie Moreno who asked him this, how does that make you feel knowing that those Democrats aren't there? And he says that, of course, I wish that they were. I mean,
They didn't go back to the scene of the crime. And you're going to pretend this is a political party? Gee, I wonder how they do in the midterms. Here's how they're going to do. Only the welfare roach moron and the scumbag that steals the policies will be a Democrat and vote for a Democrat, as they always have been. It is the party of the mafia. Corey in Woodlawn.
Hey, Shaun. You know, when I went to Trump's first inauguration, he stood up and said a speech. He said, the people behind me have been ripping you guys off for far too long. And he's been right. This is the greatest transfer of wealth from the working class to the political class in our lifetime.
And do you want to know why I think it's even worse than that? Because we've uncoupled any sense of financial responsibility. This isn't taking just from us. We bear the cost. The worker always bears the cost. But what this guarantees, when you have one scum president add $9 trillion to the debt, this guarantees they will continue to steal from our great grandkids that we haven't met yet. This is what it is. That's why it's so diabolical. And that's why they hate anybody who isn't cultivated in that system for eternity. Did you know Mitch McConnell is still alive? Did you know that?
Yeah.
Did you know that son of a gun is still alive? Listen, he did something today. It was almost as good as the freeze. Listen to this.
Okay, here's where we are.
That's the part where he soiled the trousers right there. That's where now listen. He's got it. He completely loses track of his mind. He's got to clear the room.
Vote is about over. The
Sound great.
Secretary has to get with the president on the China trip. I'm going to ask Senator Murkowski to wrap up. And thank you all for being here.
Baldwin, Shaheen, and Kennedy.
Yeah, see the problem, Corey? The meeting just got started. That stupid son of a dog is supposed to be the head guy for the Republicans, and you wonder why the SAVE Act isn't passed? Now let's do a forensic audit of all the buildings with McConnell's name on it. You want to do that? In Kentucky? What the hell are you thinking? Kentucky, if you guys are Republicans, do everybody a favor. Sit down and shut up. Don't even vote anymore. You're looking at these idiots. Thank you, Corey.
Thanks,
it's very aggravating. Very aggravating. Let's hear a little freeze frame. Where is it? Where is it?
After finishing the NDA this week, it's been good bipartisan cooperation and a string of
right here. Oh! The pants are soiled! I said, are you alive? You're looking at me. Jiminy Cricket, you're looking at me. Are you alive? Somebody hit him with a frickin' 2x4. Hey, dummy! What happened to you? Are you all right? Is he okay? He's just standing there, figuring out what that squishy stuff is in his socks. Frickin' idiot. And he won an election after that. How you doing, Kentucky? Morons. George in Naperville.
Yes, Shaun, I know you weren't thrilled about Trump going to China. If China keeps him and then wants to trade him for Taiwan, what do we do?
I think that Hegseth should have went to the meeting, locked the door, and beat the hell out of everybody. Because I'll tell you something about that karate. They're all in a stance, and they're all ready for you, right until you latch onto their face like a Doberman. Then they scream like a girl. And who's holding up the SAVE Act? Mitch McConnell's little asshat. Oh, he was. He cut his teeth in politics, John Thune, by being Mitch McConnell's chief of staff. Did you know that, Megamind? See, John Thune, like J.B. Pritzker, like Mitch McConnell, never worked a day in his fracking life.
Leader Thune, where are Senate Republicans at currently on getting the Save America Act passed? There was quite a bit of momentum on that a few weeks back. It seems like it sort of dwindled despite overwhelming support from the American people. Where do you stand on that currently? And would you reconsider getting rid of the filibuster to get it across the finish line?
We don't have the votes to get rid of the filibuster. We called it up on the floor March, I think, 17th.
You don't have the votes to get rid of the filibuster. I think you're wrong, stupid.
We were on it for several weeks and had a very spirited debate. In fact,
So what is it you guys do? You get everybody in a room, and here's what we're going to do. We're going to, we want to legitimize the elections because it would appear that since 1960, like in Chicago, they've been stealing elections. It would appear they have illegal aliens there, stealing hundreds of billions, if not trillions of dollars. So we're going to legitimize this by getting rid of the filibuster, which we put there to make certain you couldn't pass big bills so we could get bribed with government money and bring it over to Utah or Omaha, wherever the frack you're from, stupid, South Dakota, North Dakota, doesn't really matter because you didn't live there. You live in Washington. And you walked around Mitch McConnell's office in your boxer shorts so he could be titillated. It's a frickin' freak show over there.
Actually, I think with the exception of maybe a couple of Republican senators made more speeches on the floor in support of the SAVE Act than almost any other senator. And we had some votes on it. And we voted on the narrow issue, which is the most popular one, of voter ID. And we put the Democrats on the record every single.
Think about this. Elected officials cannot come up with a rule for voter ID. And that's why the Democrat areas will always be insulated like Illinois. And they'll always steal the money because that's what they were created for. Theft and robbery. Not of their own people anymore because you're all busted. Oh, Illinois is a welfare state. California, it's a sinkhole state. They call it technically. I call it a suck-on state because that's what welfare is. It sucks on. And now you'll never, ever, ever legitimize yourself because they have enough power to cut you in rather than cut it out. 312-642-5600.
Broadcasting from the petri dish of corruption known as the state of Illinois.
In the upper Midwest, the nation, and around the world.
This is the Shaun Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer.
The following advertisement includes a celebrity impersonation.
The summer heat in Chicagoland is no joke. And if your old air conditioner is making funny noises, you may already know it's time for a new unit.
Look, your air conditioner, it's a disaster. People are telling me it's the worst ever.
Don't sweat it, literally. When it comes to cooling your home, Air Right Heating and Cooling does it the best.
And they love our country. Beautiful people.
Rebates are still available, financing is flexible, and at Air Right installations are smooth and professional with no surprises.
It's beautiful. Some people say it's the coolest air anyone's ever felt. I don't know. That's just what they're saying. It's doing an incredible job. Really tremendous.
Plus, tell them AM 560 sent you and Air Right will give you $56 off any service. Visit Air Right Heating and Cooling today at AIR-RITE.com. Again, that's AIR-RITE.com. Air Right Heating and Cooling. Doing it right since 1959.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank, a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Scott Bartmus, co-founder of ESCO, a security and fire alarm services business, and a customer of Signature Bank. We work hard to give our customers peace of mind, so it's nice to know that while we have our customers' backs, partners like Signature Bank have ours. When COVID hit, there was a lot of uncertainty for many businesses, particularly surrounding the PPP loan program, with parameters and deadlines changing constantly. The executives from Signature Bank worked weekends alongside their staff, filling out and submitting applications to ensure they took care of us. That type of dedication is hard to find, but we found it with Signature Bank.
Signature Bank helps local businesses succeed. Want to learn how Signature Bank can help turn your business vision into reality? Call Signature Bank at 773-467-5600 or visit signaturebank.bank. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Picture warm Gulf breezes, turquoise waters, white sand beaches. Now, add evenings of conversation with Salem Media's Mike Gallagher, Scott Jennings, Larry O'Connor, and Jennifer Horn. This November, sail from Fort Lauderdale to the Bahamas, Jamaica, the Cayman Islands, and Mexico on a 7-day journey built for those who love this country. Book your cabin today when you text the word cruise to 94878. Celebrate America's 250th anniversary the right way on the Gulf of America Cruise. Book your cabin now. Text the word cruise to 94878.
I hereby bequeath the Cara dining table from Penny Mustard to my great-great-great-grandchild.
Really?
Our solid wood furniture lasts for generations, so I'm making sure everything's covered.
Not a bad idea, really.
The Cara table's timeless design will never go out of style.
This concludes my last will and tablement.
The Cara dining table, paired with 4 Rubio chairs, starting at just $152 a month with no interest and no payments till May of 2029 through May 31st at Penny Mustard.
6 Chicagoland showrooms.
PennyMustard.com.
My dad passed away unexpectedly. Of course, it was awful in every way, but we are very grateful that he had life insurance. So even after he was gone, he was still able to provide for us. And that's why I have life insurance for my family. Ethos.com. They make it fast and easy to get covered. It's 100% online. You get a quote in seconds, and you can apply in minutes. You get covered the same day.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/save. That's ethos.com/save. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required. Rates may vary.
If you want unlimited talk, text, and data on a crazy fast network, Big Wireless will sell it to you right now for as little as $70 a month. Or you can buy it from Pure Talk for half of that. I'm talking about unlimited talk, text, and unlimited data for just $34.99 a month. Stop paying the big guys twice what you need to. Dial pound 250, say my name. That's pound 250 micro to switch to Pure Talk, where the savings are truly unlimited.
AM 560. The Answer.
Brandon Johnson is going to Italy? Boy, they're going to spot you in that cheap suit that you think is a Brioni. Probably a Chinese knockoff, you raggedy-looking son of a dog.
What do you bring from the city of Chicago to the Chicago native Pope Leo XIV? What do you think your message will be to him if you have that opportunity to speak one-on-one?
Well, pro-abortion Democrat thief going to see a Southside Democrat who pretends to be the Pope. Yeah, that's great. Boy, yeah, I wish the Vatican had stock. I'd short it. Eduardo, Tampa Bay.
Yeah, good afternoon, Shaun. Thank you for taking my call. Well, yeah, I wonder what Pope Leo thinks about these 3 Mexicans, 2 Honduras that were found dead in Laredo. I'm glad we're doing these CIA operations in Mexico. This is ridiculous.
Southside Bob, he likes to make a little money from running aliens along with the pedophiles the other way. I'm so sick and tired of this idiot. And you're gonna. What are you gonna do? You're gonna give Brandon Johnson a good shake of his hand? You ever meet a bigger scumbag, pro-abortion, baby killing? It's like when he gave Nancy Pelosi, the host, how they didn't burn their fingers on that good Catholic like Joe Biden, another thieving rat. The scum of it really. I'm so glad though, Eduardo, because I think that might have been when I first looked at that priest and I heard that bulldung. So God wants me to talk to this queen, and that's how I'm going to get absolved of my sin. I knew right away it was a scam. Thank you. Glad I burned.
Thank you.
Glad I was brought in there as a kid. That didn't look right to me, Ma. Ma, this don't look right to me. Southside Pope. Oof.
First of all, I am just elated that the Pope is from Chicago, right? And so I'm looking forward to this visit at the end of the month.
Well, Marcinkus was from Chicago. He was the gangster that laundered the mob money for dope through the Vatican Bank. You know about that, Brandon? What the hell do you know? You were a teacher. You know nothing. And when it comes to teachers in Chicago, you know what else they don't know how to do? They don't know how to do any math. It's not just the kids. 11% can do math. The teachers might be 5%. Isn't that right? Or are you just stealing the money like I expect?
As the academic year draws to a close, Chicago Public Schools already looking at a major budget deficit for the next school year.
Maybe they thought, like the constituents who put their welfare money into those video poker machines, maybe they thought they were going to win the money. Did you think you were going to hit the lotto? Economic illiterates. And that's another thing. All these South Side areas. We got the one gangster. He's the state rep from Blue Island. I forget his name now. He's a big fat pig. I remember Megamind when gangsters could do a push-up. Now they're just sissies. He has an elected state field. He's an elected state senator. He's on the board of the Illinois Gaming Board. He's got a PAC, and he just gave Beal, the alderman who wants to put the video games everywhere, $67,000 donation, $37,000 for the daughter, right out in the open, huh, Chirac? And they take $3 billion a year from all the ghettos. All the ghettos, $3 billion a year. And they're on the poverty hamster wheel forever. And boy, if they only had that money, $3 billion in the ghettos, maybe they wouldn't be in the pickle they're in and all their services.
WGN's Christine Flores is live in the loop with details. Christine?
Oh, good afternoon, Dina. The Agenda Review Committee is currently meeting. Now, they are currently in the public comment portion, and just about every person who has taken the mic has expressed a very similar sentiment, how upset they are about the possibility of cuts in the coming school year. Now, this announcement was made as a district faces a $732 million deficit.
The time for action is now, the time to support and defend and...
Yeah. I think that's a plumber, but I don't know. It might be an Oak Park trust fund baby. I'm not going to guess male or female. The politician I was thinking of is Three Chins. Three Chins Bobby Rita. Hey, Bobby! Hey, Fetzo! You got a nice little scam going, huh? And nobody can figure you out, huh? Blue Island Fet slob. We'll be back.
A small business affirmation from Progressive. Food truck owners, today business will be booming. People will love your new menu and not make special orders. You will not roll your eyes when someone calls it a quesadilla. You will also switch to Progressive to get 30 customizable coverage options and restore your inner peace. See if you can save in as little as 8 minutes at progressivecommercial.com.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Coverage is not available in all states or for all vehicles and coverage selections.
If you want unlimited talk, text, and data on a crazy fast network, Big Wireless will sell it to you right now for as little as $70 a month. Or you can buy it from Pure Talk for half of that. I'm talking about unlimited talk, text, and unlimited data for just $34.99 a month. Stop paying the big guys twice what you need to. Dial pound 250, say my name. That's pound 250, micro, to switch to Pure Talk, where the savings are truly unlimited.
Are you turning 65 and thinking about Medicare? Or are you over 65 and haven't enrolled yet because you still have coverage at work? Either way, Medicare done correctly will be the best health insurance you will ever have. Imagine having an annual deductible of only $283. There are only two good things about aging, wisdom and Medicare. But to navigate the Medicare maze properly, you need a mentor. Best part? My guidance costs you nothing. Call me. I can help.
If you're tired of calling a bureaucrat at an 800 number to help you navigate Medicare, then you need a local expert on your side. Your own health insurance mentor. C. Stephen Tucker from healthinsurancementors.com is someone I know and trust. He's a 30-year licensed broker who's been educating our listeners for more than a decade. Steve, how can our listeners get in touch with you?
Thanks, Dan. They can visit healthinsurancementors.com or call me directly at 630-674-1551. That's 630-674-1551.
Why would you take your precious metal collections to some fly-by-night roadshow that rolls into town once a year? The only thing you need to do is follow the road to Fox Valley Coins and show your gold or silver to the team. Gold is at an all-time historical high, so don't keep sitting on your coin hoards or old jewelry that you've been saving to sell when the time is right. The time is right now. Prices have never been better on most collector and gold coins. Fox Valley Coins in Naperville is trying to keep up with demand. So they're paying the most ever on not only most gold coins in bars, but also those old coin collections. You might have scarce dates or higher grade coins, so take advantage of the record high market price and the demand now. Whether you're buying or selling, or just want to find out values, trust the team at Fox Valley Coins. Fox Valley Coins is on Route 59, just one light north of I-88 at the Naperville-Warrenville border. Family-owned integrity since 1981.
How long does it take to get to the forest?
That's not far.
What are we going to do? Hike?
Sure.
Are we there yet?
Yep. It's a short drive from your neighborhood to your naturehood. Visit discovertheforest.org, brought to you by the Ad Council and the U.S. Forest Service.
It's news, opinion, insight. It's AM 560, The Answer. WIND, Chicago.
Money, 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 money. See, we're the youngest and the richest country because we were built on the citizen. His property rights, not the government and the right to take it away. You know who knows that? Accountants. My next guest is an accountant to accountants. Wicked smart, author of the book 2008, What Really Happened. His Substack is absolutely fantastic. ToddSheetsWriter.com is where you can find everything. Substack is on helping everybody get rich. We'll talk to Todd Sheets about the economy and so much more after news with Mike Scott.
Good afternoon. Variable clouds. A little cooler this afternoon with a high near 59. I'm Mike Scott in the QC Kinetics newsroom. A man killed in a hit-and-run crash Tuesday night in Chicago's West Lawn neighborhood. Police say the crash happened around 11:15 in the 6800 block of South Pulaski Road. President Trump will be pushing for China to buy more U.S. soybeans as farmers in the Midwest continue to battle high prices, fertilizer, and fuel.
The president says that trade will be his first discussion. He says, quote, I'll be asking President Xi, a leader of extraordinary distinction, to open up China so that these brilliant people can work their magic and help bring the People's Republic to an even higher level. Now, the list of CEO and business people in the Trump delegation, now 17 on the list, the CEOs of Boeing, MasterCard, and representatives from Meta and more.
Chicago Public Schools are planning teacher cuts to help close a more than $730 million budget gap next year. The exact number of eliminated positions is unknown. Shota Imanaga on the mound for the Cubs tonight, while the White Sox battle the Royals. The news service of the daily podcast of Chicago's Morning Answer and the Shaun Thompson Show. Subscribe free at 560theanswer.com/podcast. Time now for the AM 560 Business Beat from the Fox Business Network.
I'm Maria Bartiromo, and this is the Fox Business Report. The major averages finishing mixed with the NASDAQ and S&P 500 posting fresh record closes, even though a hot producer price index report for April is reinforcing bets that the Fed will be keeping interest rate cuts off the table. Tech was the best performing sector, and chip makers rebounded from the previous session as the AI trade regains momentum. The Dow down 67 points, the NASDAQ up 314, S&P 500 up 43. And shares of Cisco Systems are popping in after-hours trading after the networking equipment maker reported better than expected third quarter financial results and delivered earnings, revenue, and guidance that beat Wall Street expectations. Nebius stock surged over 15% after the cloud company posted first quarter earnings that topped estimates. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Hillary Barsky, invested in you.
over a decade, AM 560 has marked the start of summer with a night of cigar smoking and great conversation. And this year, we're proud to welcome the editor-in-chief of Breitbart News to Cigar Night. He's Alex Marlowe, and he'll join AM 560's Dan Proft and Shaun Thompson on Tuesday, May 19th at Gobert's Farm in Pingree Grove for a night you won't forget. Tickets are on sale now at 560theanswer.com/cigar. That's 560theanswer.com/cigar. Sponsored by Liberty Cigar Company.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-884-1012 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-884-1012. That's 800-884-1012. What do you have to lose? Call 800-884-1012. Again, 800-884-1012.
Mike Lindell and the MyPillow employees want to thank you for your great support this past year. They want to make 2026 the best year ever. So to thank you, they are giving you free shipping on your entire order and wholesale pricing. So they are bringing back the mega sale. For example, the classic MyPillows, regularly $49.98, now only $14.98. Turn any mattress into the best mattress ever with the Made in the USA MyPillow My Mattress Topper and save up to $100. Get a set of MyPillow Giza Dream Sheets for as low as $29.98 or the 6-pack towel set for only $34.98. To get the best specials ever, go to MyPillow.com and use promo code LIBERTY or call 800-489-0201 and use promo code LIBERTY. These offers won't last long, so call 800-489-0201 or go to MyPillow.com and use promo code LIBERTY. Order now and your entire order ships absolutely free.
Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer from the AM 560 Traffic Center.
The Kennedy out to O'Hare from the Jane Byrne interchange. It's a 50-minute trip. The outbound Eden's not bad, although it is 50 minutes going in. Eisenhower Post Office to 390, hour and 15. Stevenson, an hour. Do Saba Lakeshore Drive out to the Veterans Memorial Tollway. And a crash on the shoulder at the Skyway inbound side of the Ryan. 22 minutes and 35 going out. Delays in the Express. 35th out to the Skyway. Heavy up on 4 to 115th, down to 159th. That's a construction delay. Do Saba Lakeshore Drive in the Tri-State, seeing delays either way. But no problems along the Reagan, 355, or the Jane Addams. This report is a service of Salem Surround, a local digital marketing agency providing high-performing digital solutions to surround your target audience. Go to surroundchicago.com today. From the AM 560 Traffic Center, I'm Jill Urchek.
Now, your official weather forecast from the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center.
Tonight will be clear and chilly with a low of 44. On Thursday, expect sunny to partly cloudy skies with a high of 67. Thursday night will be partly cloudy with a couple of showers late and a low of 53. Friday may see a shower in some areas in the morning. Otherwise, it will be partly sunny and breezy with a high of 73. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
This hour of the Shaun Thompson Show is sponsored exclusively by DonleyAuctions.com. They need your guns. Sell for top dollar. DonleyAuctions.com. Now, from the Signature Bank Studios.
I love America. I love the Constitution. I love the First Amendment. I want to carry and all guns. I love property. And let me tell you something. If you care about your country, read Ludwig von Mises and the 6 lessons of the Austrian Economic School, motherfuckers.
From the streets of Melrose Park to the trading floor of the Merc, he's fought for every dollar he's ever earned. And now, with personal liberty and our system of capitalism under assault in America, he's here to seize back our rights from the government. With a cigar in one hand and a copy of the Declaration of Independence in the other, he's Shaun Thompson. And this is the Shaun Thompson Show.
Some folks are born made. Oh, is it a great day today? Great day today. What's not great about it? For the first time since George Washington, we have a president who wasn't cultivated in the corruption of Washington, D.C. Didn't have to sell his soul out, never ran for dog catcher. And when it always boils down to the numbers. Numbers don't lie. Politicians do. My next guest knows numbers very, very well. Knows them inside and out. The accountant to accountants, author of the book 2008, What Really Happened. Understanding the great financial crisis and arguing against the functioning bankruptcy we have today. Todd Sheets, how are you, handsome?
I'm doing great, Shaun. How are you today?
Well, I'm enjoying it, and I'm enjoying it for a different reason. You and I have had the pleasure of talking for a couple of years now. And I remember our conversations, and we would talk back and forth about how do you stop this functional bankruptcy when so much of the spending is cooked into the policies which are created to be frauded. How do you stop it? How could you possibly do it? Well, you have to reprivatize the economy, and you have to implement austerity. But when we would say austerity, we were thinking the 19th century version of austerity, 20th century version of austerity. Well, it's a new century. There's a new president. I think it's Trump austerity, and I think that's what we're doing. And I love it because it's taking advantage of the corruption that was put forward in the 70s to turn in these Islamo-Nazis, meaning the Iranians and so much of the Middle East, into distributors of the most important product in the universe. And now we are. And all those ships that were going to the Strait, the Hormuz Strait, and Iran and the Middle East, I live on the Gulf of America, and they are already happy to be redirected to the Gulf of America. And I say this, I don't think Asia is going to redirect. I think we are going to be the main distributors of the most precious commodity in the universe. What do you think?
Look, I think that what's going on in Iran right now, combined with what happened in Venezuela, has the potential to be, earth-changing, earth-shattering almost. Something's on the level or close to it of what Reagan did in finally bringing the Cold War to an end back in the 1990s. I think there's a chance we turn the Middle East, which is a very different place than it was 50 years ago. And this is one of the things I think is one of the most underreported and underdiscussed aspects of what's going on. 50 years ago, the Middle East in general saw the United States as the great Satan. They were promised a bill of goods by these various theocratic governments who promised that they could come in, take over the economy, and make things better for their citizens than they had been before. They blamed all the failures and problems on the United States and on capitalism and that type of thing. And now here we are 50 years later, and they have seen the drastic failure of all of those promises and all of those policies, just like they did in Venezuela. And the people in Iran, for example, and in the Middle East in general, and I don't mean everybody, but there's a huge groundswell. They want to move in a pro-American, pro-capitalist direction right now, which creates the potential for change that, like we were just talking about, could be transformative on an enormous scale if we can end up being successful in this war. So, yeah, I think there's enormous possibilities there, and that's one of the reasons why I'm very supportive of what the president's doing in Iran.
Todd, I have to tell you, what is amazing is I have to scour a lot of stuff, right? So I do, and I love it. Believe me, I'm not complaining. I'm blessed beyond blessed. But it's fascinating to see what is still happening in Iran. Do you know today, they hung a grad student. Again, they hang 10 people, 6 people, 5 people. The girls, they don't know where they are from the soccer team that was hiding out in Australia. They were kidnapping the families. When you look at the tens of thousands of people in Iran that have been killed, I think the other side of the coin is even Islamo-run countries that are monarchies to a certain extent, like Saudi Arabia and the UAE, they are rejecting this, as they're also being bombed by the Islamo-Nazis. So that would have never happened without Trump, because the quiet, dirty secret is that for decades, but specifically since Obama, the American government thought they could bribe them into some sort of a friendship, some sort of an alliance when you couldn't. They took the money. They were financing the terror outside all around the world. And now what we have is somebody who finally wants to combat it. And what else is funny is you see all of this uproar. And by the way, there was somebody this morning on my friend's show in the morning who apparently says he's an American conservative, writes for the American conservatives, Ted Snyder. And to hear him talk was like listening to the Iranian state media. When you listen to our so-called media, they are not just supporting Iran, they are advocating for Iran's victory, for all of this stuff you see. This is the other beautiful thing. There is no denying now that you have 50% of this country who pretends to be Democrats that are openly rooting for Iran or anybody. When it comes to money, they talk about $29 billion. You didn't say a word. We sent $300 billion to the former Soviet Union, the most corrupt country outside of Chicago, called Ukraine. Nobody said a word. You didn't say a word about anything that was going on in Venezuela when Maduro was killing his own people. So what I love about it is now they're out of the closet. I'm very comfortable because it validates all of my accusations. To be a Democrat now, you are an enemy of America. I view it that way.
Yeah, look, I think I agree. I think what's happened here, and this is another enormous change over the last 40 or 50 years. You know, back in the 60s, the 70s, when I was growing up, going to school and that kind of thing, my parents were Democrats. They were teachers. Their friends were Democrats. I'm sure almost all of my teachers were Democrats. But at that time, all of them believed in America, believed we had the best system in the world. They admitted, acknowledged that, look, we had made mistakes. We had flaws like all countries do. We needed to do things like for civil rights and those kinds of things to open up the founding vision of this country to more of our citizens and bring more people under the tent, so to speak, and give them the opportunity to do something with their lives. But they still believed in America and capitalism as the best systems by far. And over the last 50 years, that has changed dramatically. The young radicals from that period that were correct about many issues, for example,
Vietnam.
Civil rights and that kind of stuff. Yeah, Vietnam, civil rights. They were on the right side of history with those things. But as they came into the power system, and they assumed power in the universities, in the traditional media, and then eventually, beginning in the 2000s, after Clinton, they took over the Democratic Party. What we found was a radical left that is more interested in changing America and turning it into a socialist nation and moving it away from the Western values that had created all the good in this country, including the opportunity for them to have, the free speech rights and be in a position to criticize the government and that kind of thing. We found them moving in a direction to where now, like you said, and I wrote about this recently also in my Substack pieces, they're effectively helping the Iranians in this war at this point in time. We have done so much to their leadership and to their military that their only remaining hope is that they can hold out longer than Trump, and that Trump will cave to political pressure before they give in to the warfare, the human warfare against the regime, and the economic warfare that we're putting on them right now. And the left, by talking their playbook, is basically encouraging them to hold on. And that puts more and more, innocent lives, including those in our military and Iranian citizens, at risk when they're doing that, and basically encouraging the regime to hold on because they're putting so much pressure on Trump, it looks like he's going to have to cave, which I don't think he's going to.
Well, I mean, if we ever got the right information, we would understand exactly how dire their situation is. When you look at their so-called currency, the Iranian rial, which $1 gets you 1.842 million Iranian rials. Did you know that? Their currency has collapsed in the last 2 months. It used to be 900,000 when they were just a third world. Now it's 1.8 million. We've even got some Democrats walking around right now. Congratulations, you're a millionaire in Iran. Economically, they're on their asses. They've always have been. And it's only the American media and the sympathy of the people who want to see America taken down that would support it. But the sad part is we have a sitting senator who was a veteran, Mark Kelly, go on and leak a classified briefing But we don't know if he's telling the truth. Number one, a Democrat always lies, and makes us seem as if we're weaker because of our weapons. But he's the same guy that said, send your weapons to Ukraine. Send your money to Ukraine. And so they weaken us when they can, and then they pretend we're weak when we're strong. But that what they never talk about, we have 10,000 nuclear warheads right now. We've got 3,000 active. We've got 1,800 that we said we would destroy. We've got 5,244 nuclear warheads that we said we were going to get rid of after the fall of the Soviet Union, and we never did. Right now, if we wanted to, we'll annihilate everybody. And I hate the idea that there are people out there that say, oh, you shouldn't talk like that. Oh, shouldn't I talk about that? Because they're beheading women. They're beheading their own people in Iran, cutting the heads off of Christians in Africa. You see the turmoil in communism in Asia. Are you nuts? I'm glad. We should have them locked and loaded and pointed. I can't get over how many self-loathing communists, socialists, Marxists there are when we spent millions of our own American soldiers in just World War II, 1.1 million between killed and injured. Look at Vietnam and all the rest. These are fracking traitors. You know, Todd, I'm real tired of pretending they're not. Where aren't they a traitor? All these Democrat enclaves, the billions are being stolen and they know it. They don't go, not one of them is outraged about the money that's stolen. Not one Democrat elected is angry about it.
Yeah, look, I think we've gotten to this point, we've talked about this before, where the far left believes that they are on the verge of taking over the country and turning us away from the Western ideals, which included capitalism, you know, the property rights, the rule of law, you know, all of these critical things that for the first time in history lifted humankind up from the ash heap of history. You know, we had gone centuries without any economic growth, with all of the, you know, hundreds and hundreds of millions, let's say billions of people around the globe effectively trapped in poverty, under governments that controlled them, until these ideas came to the fore and they were best realized in America. And then we saw between, you know, these principles and the beauty of Adam Smith's ideas about capitalism and the limited government model that we operated on, where the middle class was created, where people were finally lifted up off of that ash heap. And we don't need to cite economic statistics. We know it because we know millions of people moved here to participate in it over decades and then brought their families. That was the American dream. Come to America, go to work in the factories, save enough money to then bring your families over to the promised land, or what the Jewish people called the Goldin Medina, the golden land. And we saw the same thing domestically with people moving, you know, from the farms into the cities to work in the factories and that kind of thing. So, you know, that's what created America. It continued to work even after the New Deal minimized it. And, you know, we never grew as fast for nearly as long as we did during that period. But now we've got the far left that wants to overturn all that, turn us into a socialist country, and basically hand out goods and services based on political favoritism instead of meritocracy.
Well, and this is why it's crucially important for somebody like you to explain through the bastardization of policy how in the Democrat mafia-controlled states, everything is tremendously higher because of regulation and taxes and because of political decisions. This is a fascinating reality as we see these economic numbers come out. And right now you have 11 states make up 70% of the American GDP. All 11 states, not one, run by Democrats. Yet the Democrat states blame Trump for the economy when you talk about what they call inflation. When the reality is 61% of these numbers are because of energy costs that are greatly, greatly higher in Democrat-run areas because of regulation and taxes. And yet they bulk these numbers together. You know, Todd, this to me is the flaw of good intentions when you have smart people doing the math. Cut out the Democrat areas from the statistics because they're not real. They're corrupted numbers. And now we could have numbers based on facts, based on math. When you put them together, you let them hide the corruption, the gas taxes, the sales tax on the gas taxes, the regulations from everybody who refines it to delivers it. And you add all of this up, not to mention their own energy costs, where each one of these Democrat states is just like Illinois. And the energy provider who has a monopoly because he bribes politicians like Mike Madigan, and they did it for decades. And somehow they're still in power, and they charge 5 times what I pay right now in Southwest Florida. It's amazing to see the difference when you own the properties. I run on a fraction, 1/3 of the cost to operate a property that is worth 1/3 of the other ones in Florida. And the one in Florida costs me 1/3 what the one in Illinois does. It's amazing to see the cost to actually live through it. And you realize all those years, I just paid it. I didn't know any better. My father paid it. My mother paid it. My grandparents paid it. You just get used to it because you're living under a corrupt totalitarian area, and you don't have to in America. We really need to start to promote. If you're a good, honest person, go to a good, honest area because you'll be stripped of your wealth in the Democrat ones.
Yeah, look, I mean, and, the good news is people are starting to figure that out more and more. I mean, you're seeing it in the demographic shifts around the country, all of these blue states, which are some of the most, naturally endowed and benefited states in the world. You take a place like California with the weather, you've got the world's entertainment headquarters, you've got the world's technology headquarters based there. And they're losing people because of these policies. And to pick up on what you were saying, they are, even though the United States is energy independent, California imports like 75% of its oil. And as a result, it's paying prices at the pump that are similar to what the Europeans are having to pay in that kind of thing. So, yeah, it goes on and on and on. And one of the saddest things about this is even as the rest of the world, going back to what we were talking about over the last half century, starts to figure this out. The people in Venezuela, they want to move away from democratic socialism and back towards American capitalism. The people in the Middle East want to do that. They know that these government-run systems of collectivism, communism, socialism, whatever you want to call it, they have failed miserably. They want to move towards American-style capitalism, and yet we've got this small faction of intellectual leaders within the Democratic Party who has risen to a point where they're like the last people in the country, in the world, that still want to move something in a socialist direction. They want to make us like all the failures instead of continuing to make us the shining success in the world.
Because they're not really intellectuals. They're self-loathing. They're self-loathing people who can read. To call somebody an intellectual that would do to California what has been done. And let's give you an example. One of my favorite things is I was so blessed going to the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, Todd, really. And the reason I was blessed is that the old timers used to get a kick out of a young kid that wanted to make money. And one guy in particular who I love to this day, I hope he's still alive. I haven't talked to him in a very long time. He used to give me books to read when I was very young. And we would be trading different things. And we'd talk about, what we're trading. And he said, make no mistake of it. I don't care if you're trading live cattle. I don't care if you're trading S&P 500s. We're all oil traders. And he would tell me very early on how this was the most important, and it is, the most important common denominator of everything you see and touch above you, beyond you. Everything is oil. And when you look at California, what you said about oil. So in order, this is all regulation because American oil is the best. It's the lightest. It's the easiest to refine. They call it light sweet. It's the easiest to refine. It can be done with everything, and this is what Rockefeller knew. So only through government regulation do they mandate we import oil. So right now we have to import a percentage. 40% of it has to be imported. Out of that 40%, 60 comes from Canada, 30 comes from Mexico. They force us to import these oils from these two nations. Now the Democrats, specifically because of Carter, they have mandated that you have to import Middle East oil. Well, since the conflict with Iran, and thanks to, ironically, a lawyer who I have on all the time, John O'Connor from California, he sued OPEC because they didn't want to let Iran into OPEC because of what happened in the 79. So they kept it out. So 4% was from the Middle East. California took it upon itself to negate the American regulation and have a treaty with Iran itself. I still don't know how that's legal. I have no idea how that's constitutional. So self-loathing American Democrats in California said, no, we're going to import from Iran through Hormuz and we'll just put it into the cost of taxes. And the Californians have no fracking idea because if you're a Californian, odds are you're a Democrat, and we know they can't read, let alone understand. So all of it, and I mean all of it, is all regulated costs. And it's sickening that they get to pretend they're part of the country when they negate the laws, whether it's immigration laws or trade laws. And that's why I really do believe we need to start separating the math, separating the functioning bankruptcies that are Democrat areas, because every one of them is broke. They call them sinkhole states. I call them suck-on states. Every one of them exists from a math trick. And, they don't talk about the balance sheet versus balance of payments. So the Democrats come out, we balanced the budget. No. You did an Enron math. You took it off and you did mark-to-market. You call it balance of payments. It's a joke, isn't it?
Yeah, look, it is a joke. It is a problem. And they are bumping up against the edges of this right now. And we see it with Mamdani trying to put on these taxes in New York. We see it with California looking at a wealth tax, both of which are driving, the wealthy people that they hugely depend on for their tax bases out of the state, down to Florida, where you and I live, to Texas, and those kinds of places. And, these things, if Trump is successful and he gets the economy going, which I believe is waiting to happen. We have seen incredible earnings numbers coming out of Wall Street, given what we're in the midst of the war. We still haven't settled what the tariffs are going to be, but we've seen very powerful earnings. I think AI is going to be an enormous force for positive growth. And that's we're at the very beginning. It's like the first batter is up. It's not even the end of the first inning. It's like the first batter is finally coming to bat right now. That's going to play out over the next couple of decades. If we're successful with the economy, or he is and we are, we're successful with this war, which I believe we will be, I think we could be in a situation very similar to what happened with Reagan, where he turned around a dysfunctional economy, defeated the Soviet Union, and effectively we ended up with 20 years of Reaganomics because Clinton came in and basically governed with Reaganomics and the benefit of the peace dividend from the end of the Cold War. And to Clinton's credit, he added some fiscal responsibility to all of that, which was needed.
Well,
and
thank God he was stooping the
boom.
intern. If he wasn't stooping the intern, he might have focused. He didn't know what he was signing from Newt Gingrich. But what I love about what he's doing is in this massive growth, the trillions and trillions and trillions that are coming on shore, not any of them are going to Democrat mafia-controlled areas. They're going to the 11 well-run states. They're going to the 11 states that have fought off both illegal aliens. None of them are sanctuary states. None of them are union-mandated corrupt states where the Mafia, La Cosa Nostra, that upper echelon of the Teamsters, can extort both the members of the Teamsters and the corporations. This is absolutely fantastic. I'm telling you, just think about it. We start calling it Trump austerity because that's what it is. And if we could just get the Democrats on their own currency, they'd be like the Iran rial. One of our good dollars in Florida would buy 1.842 million of the Democrat dollars in Illinois. I think we should promote it.
The Trump dollar, right?
The Trump
probably
dollar
will be out there before we know it. The Trump dollar will be with us.
With his profile on it that drives the Democrats where, they don't earn the money anyway. What the hell's the difference? Todd Sheets, thanks for always making time for me. I appreciate it. You can find it at TomSheetsWriter.com, but the Substack on Wealth and Progress. Is it everything at ToddSheetsWriter.com? Everything?
Yeah, they can get everything there. The one thing they can't get is I do a short weekly podcast, which is basically an audio-video version of the Substack pieces for people that would rather get it that way. Those are available on Spotify or YouTube or Apple Music. Just search for Todd Sheets on Wealth and Progress, and they can find it there.
Cannot thank you enough for, ever since you wrote the book, 2008, What Really Happened, I've been a fan. So I can't thank you enough for always making time for me, my friend. Thank you.
Shaun, it's great to be with you again. I always enjoy it.
Thank you. We'll be back with your calls and comments.
This is the Shaun Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer.
I'd like to tell you about a man named Phineas who as a child survived the Holocaust. Phineas survived because Christians hid him from the Nazis, risking everything to save his life. Today, Phineas is in his 80s. He can no longer stand on his own or even leave his home to receive medical care. And when sirens sound and missiles fall, he doesn't have the time or the strength to reach safety. But once again, Christians are helping to save his life. Through the International Fellowship of Christians and Jews, a mobile clinic brings doctors and medicine right to Phineas's doorstep, providing care that he otherwise would not receive, especially during a time of war. Phineas said, "Christians saved my life during the Holocaust, And now again, they are helping me. As Israel's Holocaust Remembrance Day approaches, remember these precious children of God by lifting them up in prayer, asking for his protection, his comfort, and his peace. Stand with Israel in prayer by visiting supportifcj.org. That's supportifcj.org.
Let me ask you something. Does your garage floor look bad? Covered in salt, cracked, or stained from the winter's brutal blast? Well, I've got a fix for you so you can start enjoying your garage this spring. Contact my good friends at Level 10 Coatings. Level 10 brought my garage floor from dirty and gross to showroom, shiny new in just one day. Level 10 Coatings can do the same for you. A quick and easy fix, permanent durable solution. Guaranteed to never chip or peel. Get it done now so you can enjoy your garage this spring and summer. Schedule your free quote today and mention me, Amy, for $500 off. Visit level10coatings.com. That's level, the number 10, coatings.com. Level10coatings.com or call 855-510-2628. Again, that's 855-510-2628. Level 10 Coatings, your premier concrete coating experts.
Man, I love this place. I've been surfing here since I was a kid. Now, seeing my grandson out on the water, it means everything to me. Watching him and taking in the blue waves, the sea breeze, the blurry horizon.
If you have geographic atrophy, or GA, subtle changes in vision could mean it's progressing toward irreversible vision loss. Izervay is proven to slow GA progression and could help preserve your vision for longer, so you may keep seeing the world around you. Izervay, or avacincaptad pegol, is an eye injection. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may cause blood in the white of the eye, blurred vision, or a temporary increase in eye pressure. Do not drive or use machinery until vision has recovered after an eye injection or exam. Ask your retina specialist how you can slow your GA with Izervay. To learn more, call 1-855-IZERVAY or go to izervay.com. Paid for by Astellas Pharma.
Marxists, communists, socialists, and Democrats hate capitalism is because of its flaw. It has one. You have to participate. You have to get off your ass. You have to make decisions. Now, they don't have to be big. In fact, if you have a little job, no matter what it is, no matter how old you are, and you take a small portion, a portion, any portion, and you invest it in some form of a retirement. It can be an index. It can be any plan out there. And it can grow. It's called compound interest. It offsets bad policies. And when it's managed properly, then you don't have to worry about anything in retirement. That's why I'm giving you the most important number that you need, the most important name that you need. The number, 630-864-6711. That number again, 630-864-6711. For 30 years, Tom Fortino and the people of Alpha Wealth have been helping people take a portion of their income and grow it into a retirement that they can live on, especially when you have open contact and you consult and you tell them your needs and your changes, kids coming, grandkids coming. More importantly, what your plans are in retirement and how your earnings have changed. Because if structured right, you can offset any liability of taxes. But you have to call that number, 630-864-6711. Take advantage of Alpha Wealth's 30 years of success in growing retirement 401ks, Roth IRAs, holding even investment property in a Roth IRA, helping you to circumvent the penalty for succeeding called taxes. AlphaWealthGroup.com. Ask for a no-obligation consultation, and the most important part, your kids get it. The Democrat gangsters don't steal it when you die. 630-864-6711. When we get back, Rick in LaPorte, Indiana, you'll lead us off. 312-642-5600 if you care to follow. After Mike Scott.
Thanks, Shaun. Good evening. I'm Mike Scott in the QC Kinetics newsroom. Clear with a chilly low of 44 tonight. The Chicago Fire's new soccer stadium being built in the city's South Loop will be named after an iconic global brand, McDonald's. The Fire and McDonald's announcing a naming rights deal today. A man killed in a hit-and-run crash Tuesday night in Chicago's West Lawn neighborhood. The crash happened in the 6800 block of South Pulaski. A CIA whistleblower is testifying before the Senate over an alleged cover-up related to the origins of COVID-19.
Dr. Fauci influenced the analytical process and findings by leveraging his position to ensure the IC consulted with a conflicted list of curated subject matter experts, public health officials, and scientists.
James Erdman III is appearing before the Senate Homeland Security and Governmental Affairs Committees. Shota Imanaga on the mound for the Cubs tonight. White Sox battle the Royals. The News is a service of the AM 560 mobile app. Download the AM 560 mobile app at 560theanswer.com/mobile. Your next news update comes your way at 6. Continuous news, traffic, and weather coverage at 560theanswer.com. Now with the very latest from the AM 560 Traffic Center, here is Jill Urchak.
On the Kennedy downtown out to O'Hare, that is a 50-minute trip, and we're seeing outbound delays on the Edens a bit right near Skokie. On the Eisenhower, post office out to 390 hour and 15, and traffic is very slow Higgins to the Jane Addams. Stevenson inbound, a stall on the exit ramp to Cicero, 45 minutes inbound. The outbound trip is an hour and 5. On the Dan Ryan, stall inbound in the right lane at Roosevelt, 25 in, 30 out. Still heavy along DuSable Lakeshore Drive in both directions. Tri-State, there are tie-ups either way. It's not too bad, though. But the Jane Addams, the Reagan, and 355, those are all clear. This report is a service of the AM 560 Advantage. Membership has its privileges, including early access to event tickets, exclusive contest opportunities, and special members-only content. Join today at 560theanswer.com/join. From the AM 560 Traffic Center, I'm Jill Urchak.
Now, your official weather forecast from the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center.
Tonight will be clear and chilly with a low of 44. Expect Thursday to bring a mix of sun and clouds with a high of 67. Thursday night will be partly cloudy with a chance of a few late showers and a low of 53. On Friday, there may be a shower in some areas in the morning, but overall it will be partly sunny and breezy with a high of 73. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com. Alex Marlowe explains the end goal.
People are starting to finally get the message that I've been bringing to you on this show from day one, which is that so long as Iran intends to pursue nuclear weapons, that is an imminent threat to the United States of America, and we cannot allow for that to happen. We need to lock in the full and total destruction of Iran's nuclear capabilities, and then things will go back to creating the golden era.
The Alex Marlowe Show. Afternoons at 3, right before Shaun Thompson at 4 on AM 560. The Answer.
Nothing makes a gathering great like Eggland's Best Eggs. They're just so delicious with better nutrition, too. For us, it's eggs any style, as long as they're the best. Eggland's Best.
Well, we decided to develop our own mattress line just, I think, purely from a quality standpoint again.
We wanted to go the opposite way the industry was going. The industry was cheapening things, and we didn't believe in that.
Ben and Arvid Huth, brothers and owners of Penny Mustard Furnishings.
The entire mattress industry has gone to one-sided. We still believe, and I know in my heart, that a two-sided is going to last you longer. You can get more comfort out of it.
That's the reason that we put higher density foam in the mattresses, is so that they're comfortable for a longer period of time. It goes back to just wanting people to be happy, not now, but 5 years from now, 10 years from now. I want them to look back and say, wow, I bought that a long time ago and I'm still really happy with it. That's true in our mattresses, it's true in our furniture. We don't want you to buy something and 5 years from now, you're like, oh, it's falling apart.
10 years from now, the customer shouldn't have to replace the mattress because it no longer supports them.
They can, but they don't have.
Right, and that's how we build it.
See more at pennymustard.com.
15, 20 years from now, that mattress is still going to have good support.
Somebody can still use it.
Yes, absolutely.
Did you know most remodeling mishaps start before construction even begins? Here's something else you should know. At Forever Remodeling, we do things differently. Every kitchen, bathroom, and basement project starts with smart planning, detailed 3D designs, a clear scope of work, and accurate pricing, all sorted out before you get started. No surprises, no stress, just beautiful results, done right the first time. Visit foreverremodeling.com. That's the number 4, EVER, remodeling.com, and schedule your free in-home consultation today.
Streaming services, retail chains, and tech giants are all adding plus to their names. It's fairly obvious they were inspired by Hasseless mattress. Hasseless showrooms are employee-free, plus unbeatable prices on Tempur-Pedic, plus free next-day delivery, plus 60-month interest-free financing on select Tempur-Pedic with approved credit, plus a $300 MasterCard gift card with your Tempur-Pedic mattress. Maybe we should change our name to Hasseless Plus. Find an employee-free showroom near you at Hasseless.com.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios.
This hour of The Shaun Thompson Show is sponsored exclusively by DonleyAuctions.com. Vintage toys or model trains in the attic? Sell them for top dollar. DonleyAuctions.com.
You know, the beauty of the 70s, 80s, growing up, gangsters were men. They didn't look like big fat slobs, like they were waiting for Richard Simmons to pop up to do a little sweating to the oldies, like they do now, these Southside Democrats. And the gangbangers, especially in my neighborhood, where we had a lot of the Latin Kings when it first started, you know what I mean? They would get the face tattoos and the neck tattoos because they were tough guys. The time, the teardrop meant something. I want you to hear what a guy with a teardrops on his eyes, neck tattoos, ear tattoos, wants everybody to think he's a gangbanger. Here's a guy who don't want to pay for his fracking juice.
What's happening, y'all? All you can get to drink now with your food stamps is water. Not eligible. It's happening, y'all. It's happening. What am I going to drink now?
Big tough gangbanger.
Eligible.
Can't buy your Pepsi? Tough guy.
Man? What we supposed to drink now? Not eligible.
Not eligible. Vado.
Not eligible. All they're giving us is water, guys. I'm at HEB right now, and you can't get nothing to drink besides water.
Hey, gangbanger, buy your own fracking Pepsi. Low life. Rick, La Porta, Indiana.
Yeah, Shaun. I'm out here in LaPorte County, and lately I've been seeing a lot of Illinois license plates. My question is, you got all these people. You got all these people from California moving to Florida. You know, I just hope they're not all Democrats.
Oh no! In fact,
I think it's a plan. It's a plan.
No.
You know, he's kicking everybody out of California, go to Florida, and then they're going to try to switch Florida. You know what I'm saying?
No, it's only the good people from those oppressed areas live here, like Gavin Newsom's in-laws. His mother-in-law and his father-in-law live 10 blocks from me. Did you know that? And they are not Democrats. Here they are. You got your son-in-law, and by the way, big California money, Gainesville. These are the people who understand right and wrong. And the difference down here is twofold. Number one, we have a very strict voter ID law. Very strict. Number two, we enforce law. So if you're a criminal, Florida, you do not want to go to jail in Florida. No. And if you do really something bad, we're happy to kill you. I think we should bring back the electrocutions. It had a little nuance to it. But now they still shoot that stuff in the arm that the same drug addicts do in California, and they keep bringing them back. They hit them with the stuff, they're back again. Drunk again, high again, OD tomorrow, same thing. Here, we just let them, if you OD here, we just kind of push you off to the side. You got those little canals, right in the canal. Now you're gator food. Nobody's hitting you with the Narcan. Roll them into the canal. Thank you, Rick. Terry, Dyer, Indiana.
Yeah, but they need to put it on TV. They need to put it on
Oh,
TV.
it is. You watch the news down here, it's absolutely fantastic. And you could always see where the Democrats are. This is why, Terry, when you're moving, you have to do the research. You move to the county with the least registered scumbags, known as Democrats, that there ever is. And then you'll be happy. Real estate prices will go up. Your sun is shining. It's a great place to live, and law is enforced.
Yeah. So Shaun, if you remember, like in the first hour, I think you had that young kid called in.
Johnny
Remember?
Boy from Oak Park. Yeah. Young kid.
Yeah.
Like 10 years old.
And you were just talking about compounding interest. Why can't we, as a people, teach people to invest in the mutual fund, just $100 a week or something like that? You know, I mean, why can't we do that to our kids?
Well, a lot of people do. A lot of people don't have the money. Listen, mate, when I grew up, there was no extra money for nothing. However, you want to know, Terry, this is the beautiful point of what Donald Trump did. Donald Trump ended Social Security, and nobody's talking about it. We talk about it on this show. But when you give people self-interest, when you give them their own dignity, see, giving dignity doesn't mean money. You introduce them to a way to make money. That's dignity. You introduce them a way to be stewards over their own behavior. That is dignity. You can give a degenerate drug addict any amount of money. He'll just go buy dope and be dead in a couple months, longer than normal. But when you give these kids from birth $1,000 in this account that they can't touch, their mother and fathers can't rob them, but they can keep an interest on it. They can even direct it a little bit, like a mutual fund or a 401k or a Roth or whatever it is.
Yep.
You change the future. And now when you take the taxes, can you imagine how you would end all of this scandal and scam if you said, you know what? I don't want Social Security. Let me out. And now you don't have to pay it. Your employer doesn't have to pay it. I don't even want Medicare. I don't want it. Let me out. No, see, but it runs on forced participation and economic ignorance. Only the people that are understanding what economics are and what their own self-interest is, they're the ones, that's us. That's the people listening to this show. Those are the people that start businesses. Yeah. The other ones aren't. This is the beauty of what he did. That seed, that little acorn will grow into the mighty oak of self-interest and capitalism again. He broke it, and nobody's talking about it. You know, Social Security, a third, it boils down to about a third, a little more, actually collect it. The rest do not. And nobody cares. Nobody cares. You pay all your life. How many die before they collect it? How many die soon after they collect it? Nobody breaks it. You got to live to be 130. It's the perfect form of fraud and financial ignorance. And the best part, Terry, is there is no lockbox. There never has been. Since the time it was passed, it was a lie. It's the general fund. They run the whole fracking government the way a Democrat drug dealer runs his business, out of one drawer. That's how they do it. They're morons. I love it.
Yeah, a bunch of morons.
That's all they are. That's why if you're a Democrat, understand, if someone says they're a Democrat, either they're an idiot or they're a crook. There are no other options. It's that simple. This is the beauty of 2026. We have the evidence, Terry. We have the evidence everywhere. Which way you want to go? You want to go Chicago Democrats? Ooh, they made it an art form. We're going to put the illegals in an entire hotel that nobody could go to because of it's a ghetto. Then we're going to make it look like it has a balance sheet. After all, they've rented rooms since COVID. Then on top of that, we're going to pretend we tax government spending and call it revenue. Well, that doesn't work. And it boosts up our tourist numbers. I mean, after all, they're tourists. Sure, they're degenerate cartel members and drug dealers, but technically they're in a hotel room.
The Holiday Inn Chicago Midway, located at 7353 South Cicero Avenue, hit the market for $20.5 million in March of 2024. But here's what they're not telling you up front. This hotel has been operating as an illegal immigrant shelter. Since 2023, Chicago has been leasing hotels like this one to house thousands of illegals. The Holiday Inn near Midway became one of the major shelter sites, just 3 blocks from Ford City Mall and less than 2 miles from the airport. Now, even while it's being used as a shelter, the owners, IHG, with the help of Josh Tammon from Marcus and Millichamp out of Phoenix, Arizona, are trying to sell it. Investors might inherit the migrant crisis or the...
That's a financial crime. What that is a financial crime at every level. And that would only happen when Democrats are in charge. 312-642-5600.
And communists are not welcome on the Shaun Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer. Looking for some hope? Listen to Leading the Way with Dr. Michael Youssef on our sister station, AM 1160. Hope for your life. Weekday mornings starting at 8.
Paylocity Corporation seeks a software engineer. The position reports to company headquarters in Schaumburg, Illinois. Applicants may work from a home office anywhere in the United States. You will design, develop, and maintain software applications following established best practices. The position requires a bachelor's degree in computer science, software engineering, or related field, willing to accept foreign educational equivalent, plus 2 years of experience as a software engineer or closely related occupation in professional software engineering. The wage offered is $131,840.28 per year. Send resume to askhr@paylocity.com and reference job number 22219.55.4. Again, Paylocity Corporation seeks a software engineer. Send resume to askhr@paylocity.com and reference job number 22219.55.4.
Wealth Health Radio. The biggest fears that people have is, do I have enough money to retire?
Retirement doesn't have to be complicated.
Make sure that you're going through retirement with confidence.
Learn principles of income planning.
There's a lot of different facets that you need to take into consideration when you're retiring.
Tune into Wealth Health Radio with Joe Murphy, noon to 1 p.m. Sundays on AM 560, The Answer. Listen to AM 560, The Answer, on your smartphone. Download the AM 560 mobile app today. Online at 560theanswer.com/mobile or text the word app to 312-642-5600. AM 560, The Answer.
Chair of the Democrat Congressional Campaign Committee. Ooh, look at you. Van Hollen is his name. And he's another career suck-on. Born in 59, elected in the 90s. And he reveals something as they're trying to expose, in their mind, Kash Patel for being a drinker. And I have said, and you've heard me say, that Washington, D.C. is Caligula for ugly people, for unattractive, despicable nerds who are in control of the government and the policies and the trillions of dollars. Now, we know that Tom Massey married one of the girls that worked in his little office there. He molested another girl and then tried to bribe her. We played the clip yesterday. And he's a Republican. So it's a duopoly. This is an illusion. We don't have a republic anymore. They go to Washington. Half of them never go back to their districts. And they're immune to reality. So as they're trying to expose Kash Patel, this Chris Van Hollen, he reveals something that I absolutely love. Not the fact that he's a liar. He's a Democrat. You know he's a liar. So he lies in one sentence. But they talk about the kind of nights that they have. This is not a Friday night. This is a Tuesday night.
Not lied to Congress?
I didn't ask you that.
Lied to Congress is you?
I'm not testifying here, sir, and I don't lie.
Maybe the next time you run up a $7,000 bar tab, we can talk about it.
Well, see, there you go. Lying again. You suggested
in the FEC report. I'll post it right now.
You suggested it was public. It wasn't public money, as you know. That was for a 50-member staff party.
So it was a $7,000 bar tab.
Mr. Patel, I'm glad. Let me just say in closing, Mr. Chairman, two things.
So he lied. It wasn't a no, I didn't pay for it with the public money. I paid for it. So they have their own little coffers where they're bribed to have carve-outs like in Chicago, like Chirac. Whether you bribe a two-bit scumbag alderman like Beale, or whether you bribe the head of the finance committee like big fat-ass Ed Burke, Mike Madigan. You have to bribe them, and then that money goes into a pool, and they could do what they want with that money. Then they could raise money from companies that bribe them if they want to go in there. Like, I believe, what was it, Burger King with fat-ass Ed Burke? And then it goes into his money, and nobody can see the money. Then they take their staff out. And if they get caught, they say, I paid for it. Well, how do you know? Who gets to audit them? They do. It's the perfect system of scum. Scum watching scum. We'll be back.
Hey, if you're living with joint pain, listen up. I want you to try something different. You don't have to live in pain every day. Have a conversation with my friends at QC Kinetics and tell them I sent you when you do. They offer all-natural regenerative treatments for joint pain. I've seen the results and personally recommend Dr. Caravelli and her team. Stop saying to yourself, this is just how I am now. That's not okay. Get back to the normal you, the one who is active and carefree. QC Kinetics is helping AM 560 listeners with pain from arthritis or injury in their knees, hips, and shoulders. Now they're moving again, golfing and running without surgery or long recovery. The science is real. The treatments are natural. Your body knows how to heal. QC Kinetics will show you how without surgery. Don't watch summer pass you by again, stuck on your couch, afraid to move. Take action today. Schedule an appointment right now. Consultations are free. Call 312-827-6261. That number again, 312-827-6261. Call QC Kinetics at 312-827-6261.
The following advertisement includes a celebrity impersonation.
The summer heat in Chicagoland is no joke. And if your old air conditioner is making funny noises, you may already know it's time for a new unit.
Look, your air conditioner, it's a disaster. People are telling me it's the worst ever.
Don't sweat it, literally. When it comes to cooling your home, Air Right Heating and Cooling does it the best.
And they love our country. Beautiful people.
Rebates are still available, financing is flexible, and at Air Right installations are smooth and professional with no surprises.
It's beautiful. Some people say it's the coolest air anyone's ever felt. I don't know. That's just what they're saying. It's doing an incredible job. Really tremendous.
Plus, tell them AM 560 sent you, and Air Right will give you $56 off any service. Visit Air Right Heating and Cooling today at AIR-RITE.com. Again, that's AIR-RITE.com. Air Right Heating and Cooling. Doing it right since 1959.
President Trump has triggered a $200 billion tech disruption, and Wall Street is asleep at the switch. This $200 billion investment in chip technology could make today's artificial intelligence chips obsolete. Technology that will make today's AI data centers a thing of the past, like IBM's old mainframes. While most investors are focused on old-fashioned AI, there are three companies quietly building a trillion-dollar triangle that could transform every tech sector on Earth. These three companies are gearing up to develop and manufacture supercomputers the size of a dinner plate. Institutions like Vanguard, BlackRock, and State Street are pouring more than $200 billion into this AI revolution. Investment guru George Gilder has been predicting tech revolutions for more than 40 years, including the iPhone, Netflix, and Amazon. Now he's got his finger on three companies whose technology will change tech forever. Log on to TrillionDollarTriangle.com to find out which three companies are working on what could be the biggest tech disruption since the internet. TrillionDollarTriangle.com. That's TrillionDollarTriangle.com.
If you're considering investing in precious metals, don't wait. The Iranian conflict seems to be nearing an end, and the time is now to position your retirement for massive growth. Advantage Gold is America's #1 precious metals company, and they want to send you a free gold and silver investor guide valued at $49 when you call 800-900-8000. Plus, you'll get a free copy of economist Ken Rogoff's book, Our Dollar, Your Problem. Our specialists can help you open a new account or transfer funds from an existing IRA, tax and penalty-free, and show you how a gold-backed IRA can put real, tangible assets into your retirement portfolio. Markets react to news cycles, but gold has maintained its value through inflation, volatility, and economic uncertainty. When the purchasing power of the dollar declines, that's when investors turn to gold and silver. Make your move now. Call Advantage Gold at 800-900-8000. Results may vary. Consult your financial advisor before investing. Call 800-900-8000. That's 800-900-8000.
News, opinion, insight. This is AM 560, The Answer. WIND, Chicago. Streaming at 560theanswer.com on the AM 560 mobile app, or tell your smart speaker to play The Answer Chicago.
A big meeting in Beijing. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. President Trump set to sit down with China's President Xi Jinping with Taiwan, the Iran conflict, and trade on the agenda.
President Trump says, I will be asking President Xi, a leader of extraordinary distinction, to open up China so that these brilliant people can work their magic and help bring the People's Republic to an even higher level. In fact, I promise that when we are together, which will be in a matter of hours, I will make that my very first request. That is why the president picked up NVIDIA's CEO Jensen Huang during an Air Force One refueling stop in Alaska, and that is why he's got Elon Musk back in the fold for at least a few days. Both of those CEOs are critical to keeping America ahead in the race for AI supremacy.
Fox's Peter Ducey in Beijing. A CIA whistleblower appeared before the Senate Homeland Security Committee. James Erdman claims there was a cover-up involving the origins of COVID-19, saying the CIA at first thought it came from a lab leak, but changed its position after Dr. Anthony Fauci got involved. Kentucky Republican Rand Paul.
For years, Americans were told to trust the experts, trust the agencies, trust the intelligence community, and trust the officials who assured us that they were following the science. But the evidence before the committee tells a very different story.
CIA calling the hearing nothing more than political theater. An oncologist who was traveling on the cruise ship where there was an outbreak of hantavirus, Dr. Stephen Kornfeld, says he is isolated at a hospital in Nebraska after he volunteered to take care of sick passengers. 17 other Americans are under observation. The remains of the second U.S. soldier who went missing during military exercises in Morocco has been recovered. The Army says Specialist Mariah Simone Collington fell off a cliff during a recreational hike. America's listening to Fox News.
How can you get from here to there? We've got the answer from the AM 560 Traffic Center.
Here is another check of the roads. We're still seeing tie-ups either way on the tri-state. They are improving, though. Jane Addams, Reagan, and 355. Those are all in good shape. Delays continue along DuSable Lakeshore Drive, both north and south. Slight improvements, though. Outbound Edens remains clear on the Kennedy, downtown to O'Hare. 45 minutes going out there with a stall in the express off to the side at Kimball. Outbound Eisenhower, 50 minutes to Wolf Road, 1 hour out to 390. Stevenson going out, that checks in at an hour out to 355 from DuSable Lakeshore Drive. Outbound Ryan, 30 minutes, and Tighten Those Express, 35th to the Skyway. This report is a service of the AM 560 store. Order t-shirts, hoodies, and more from your favorite AM 560 brands, including Croft University and The Shaun Thompson Show, when you go to 560theanswer.com/store. From the AM 560 Traffic Center, I'm Jill Urchek.
Now, your official weather forecast from the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center.
Tonight will be clear and chilly with a low of 44. On Thursday, expect sunny to partly cloudy skies with a high of 67. Thursday night will be partly cloudy with a couple of showers late and a low of 53. Friday may see a shower in some areas in the morning. Otherwise, it will be partly sunny and breezy with a high of 73. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com. For over a decade, AM 560 has marked the start of summer with a night of cigar smoking and great conversation. And this year, we're proud to welcome the editor-in-chief of Breitbart News to Cigar Night. He's Alex Marlowe, and he'll join AM 560's Dan Proft and Shaun Thompson on Tuesday, May 19th at Gobert's Farm in Pingree Grove for a night you won't forget. Tickets are on sale now at 560theanswer.com/cigar. That's 560theanswer.com/cigar. Sponsored by Firago, the Immune Enhancement Cocktail.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-884-1012 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-884-1012. That's 800-884-1012. What do you have to lose? Call 800-884-1012. Again, 800-884-1012.
Let Cole Digital turn your outdoor space into the ultimate entertainment setup. With a 75-inch SunBright outdoor TV that can stay out year-round and great sound throughout. Like planter speakers on the patio, high-quality rock speakers that blend right into your landscape, or bronze garden speakers that blend into the environment. Our technicians will dig a hole and install an in-ground subwoofer for incredible bass and the best in sound quality. We also install outdoor rated access points for Wi-Fi coverage throughout your yard, and cameras that let you keep an eye on everything with motion-activated recording. Tour our Cole Digital Design Center, 15,000 square feet of audio, video, and great design ideas. Cole Digital is family-owned by conservatives that share your values, and we're based right in Frankfurt. Visit Cole Digital today and schedule your consultation. ColeDigital.com. That's K-O-L-E digital.com. Or call 815-469-2000, and we'll bring the showroom to you. 815-469-2000. Cole Digital, what smart living is all about.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios,
This hour of the Shaun Thompson Show is sponsored exclusively by DonleyAuctions.com. They need your guns. Sell for top dollar. DonleyAuctions.com.
From the streets of Melrose Park to the trading floor of the Merc, he's fought for every dollar he's ever earned. And now, with personal liberty and our system of capitalism under assault in America, he's here to seize back our rights from the government. With a cigar in one hand and a copy of the Declaration of Independence in the other, he's Shaun Thompson. And this is the Shaun Thompson Show.
Some folks are born made to wave the flag. Ooh, they're red, white, and blue.
Now, to give you a sterile idea of who we're going to talk to, aside from toying with the idea of being a professor at DePaul, which he did, when it comes to technical trade, experience in cash equities, commodities, and financial products on 3 main continents, my next guest has worked, has been paid well, and has done well. In fact, going back now, man, we're talking, it's got to be close to 20 years. It's real close, 17, 18 years, somewhere in there since I met him. I don't know if he's been wrong. He's awful funny. And one thing's for sure, if you're going to share a pizza, keep your hands under the table. Scott the Cow Guy Shality. How are you, sexy?
Keep your hands and feet away from his mouth and you'll be fine. Yep,
it's like a wood chipper. It's dangerous. However, you have not been wrong. 20 years. I'm dead serious. I'm going back to when we were talking about gold. I'm going back to that. And we had talked about the idea of what it could be if they were going to be dumb enough to move forward with what they were talking about. And back then, George W. Bush was the president. You realize that? So when Obama came in and he exploded the reality of financial consequences, and you look at a $100 bill today, 67 of those dollars in that $100 bill has been printed since Barack Obama was pretending he was going home to that Bigfoot wife of his on the west side of Chicago. You've got really, it's amazing we're not the Weimar Republic. After all, that's kind of the financing they did. And I think the only reason we're not is because of our private sector and now Donald Trump. I really believe that.
Yeah, I mean, we obviously small business has been a huge reason why we've been successful in this country. And then obviously energy, and that was a lot of Donald Trump. But we've almost been successful in spite of ourselves, or at least in spite of some of our leaders that have, not taken some great decisions. So yeah, I mean, we can do a lot better. We're not perfect. It's the best place on earth, believe me, because I've lived in a lot of other ones and I've looked at it from the outside in, and that's why we still have a fence here, because people still want to come in. But we are successful in spite of ourselves because we do some boneheaded stuff.
Now, a big number came out, at least I remember when it used to be big, when I used to have to trade on it. The PPI came out today, right? Producer Price Index. And it's a big number, but it always kind of ran in line to some extent with inflation numbers that came out the day before. The problem I have with the way in which we're doing the numbers now, really it's a problem I had all the time, but it's never been more stark. The cost of production inside a well-run area versus a Democrat one. And it's vastly different, but yet when these numbers come out, you don't get that nuance. You just get the bulk number. So when you look at energy prices in Illinois, Stan, or when you look at prices in California or New York, they're tremendously higher, not just because of the corruption between those monopolies that have the politicians in their pocket, but because of the regulation that made them higher. So it's really a bastardized number when you look at it. And after all, inflation and PPI, what is it, 61% of it is energy costs?
Yes, 60. Yeah. Well, I mean, no, we don't break it out by different regions, but there's so many more things happening around that number that are coming to fruition, where you slowly but surely are getting 2 different countries, and obviously one is going to be red and the other one's going to be blue. And I don't know what these blue states have in mind, because they're losing people hand over fist. And I'm talking the big earners. I had a guy on my show today, Jason Katz. He's a big-time money manager, financial advisor at UBS. He's in New York, and he's, off air. He's like, he can't believe what's happening to his city. He's one of those guys that has like a small pet-a-terre in New York, but he lives, in Connecticut, or he spends a lot of time in Miami. I mean, he's saying that people are leaving there and taking their money and their businesses with them. And he can't believe it. He used to love New York. And I bet you could probably say a lot of the same things about Chicago as well. I used to think that was a great city. I'll never go back. And we don't have any family members that will either. This is what's happening. But now, again, the Southeast Conference, the SEC, the 11 states in the southeast of the country are doing gangbusters, and it's been fantastic. So you know what? All you got to do is look at what people are doing and what their feet are doing, and you know where the right places to be are, and you know where the bad places you don't want to be.
What's fascinating is I had a friend of mine who's got I don't want to embarrass him, but he's got a daughter that's college age, and she was going to school in Chicago, and she came out, and she might go back and all this stuff. So he's telling me, I said, brother, I haven't done real estate in Chicago in years, 10 years, really, but, say 7 for hardcore. And he's like, can you just look some stuff? I was looking at the prices. And listen, a lot of them are under contract, in all fairness to them. But in Ravenswood, there's still condos you could buy, small ones, $150,000, $125,000. Are you nuts?
Yeah.
There's still condos for $250,000. I mean, it's 1992 pricing. And it's and now inflationally adjusted, right? So inflationally adjust. What you and I used to look at for $250 and $350 and $400, inflationally adjusted, it should be $700, and they're still selling at $250. So you're really selling them in $93. You're selling them at $40,000, $50,000, aren't you?
Yeah, I had a real estate guy on from Chicago on my show today, and I said, he's like, we're going gangbusters. We're busier than we're a one-legged man in a butt-kicking fight. And I said, yeah, but it's because you're giving stuff away because you can't fill the place. And everybody knows they want to go in Lincoln Park or Boys Town and Lakeview or whatever. I get it. So what? But you know what? For a large part of that city, you can get in, just outside the loop or in nice parts of the city, what used to be nice parts, you can get a nice one-bedroom for $175,000. And you can, with a view of the lake. It's amazing what they're letting go now, and it's because it got so bad. And now, okay, everybody's excited about you're being busier with real estate prices. It's because everything's hit rock bottom.
Yes, and once again, the deceit of what is called inflation, but it's the lack of the buying power of the dollar. And when you adjust it, it's really bad. But it does show its face. And in fairness, I just saw a news story this week about properties in Chicago, the big major buildings that used to house businesses. I mean, they're giving that stuff away. They're lucky if they're losing 70%. And the same thing is going on in California. But what's shocking me and what I love to see, I think California can turn around in a hurry, especially if you get Republicans in the governor's mansion, let alone L.A. You could turn that around. This is the beauty about Democrats. You could clean up their mess with an intellect and the understanding of math in about a year and a half. And I think California goes the way of these other Democrat strongholds at least 10 years from now. But if California turns around, that's also a big plus, a feather in the cap of Trumponomics, isn't it?
Absolutely, and one of the guys that's running is Steve Hilton, and he's an English guy he's been an American, a naturalized U.S. citizen, but he's a big time conservative, and I think he's actually leading the governor's race in California. So there is hope. I mean, obviously, at some point in time, people have had enough, but now we have to what about Illinois, Michigan, New York? I mean, there are other problem places in the country where I just don't understand. I want to sit down across from a Democrat and go, walk me through your thought process and how you got here and what you love about being a Democrat. I just want to hear you say it because I can't find anything that I would really sign up for.
Well, it's the self-loathingness that creates this. They hate themselves. They didn't live up to the expectations of their mother, their father, their grandfather. It's the same thing as Full Metal Jacket. Didn't your mommy and daddy love you? They just want to tear everything down. But what's fascinating to watch is the Republicans that are produced in Illinois. I have to tell you, I had an affable conversation, and I do have an affable relationship with the guy who's running for lieutenant governor. But when you look at what he said last week, I am like, are you fracking kidding me? And then you realize, I think it's just the con of I'll say whatever I have to say. That's the establishment Republican version. So what I'm referring to is I think Darren Bailey is not only does he look like Yogi Bear, I don't think he's as smart as Yogi Bear. So I think also when you hear Aaron Del Mar, the lieutenant governor, say, Governor Pritzker has the opportunity to raise the minimum wage and do it rather than, are you fracking kidding me? They can't articulate the argument for capitalism, for freedom, for business, because really when you step back and look at these guys, none of them ever did anything. This is unfortunately, we are hoisted by our own petard. You have this entire mafia that is the Republicans in these Democrat strongholds, and they protect it in the same way Washington wanted to protect America from Donald Trump. They don't want guys that know how to fix it. The refreshing thing about California is both Republicans, both of them are saying things opposite of what the status quo is, even in the Republican parties in these Democrat areas. So that's where I have more hope for California than any of the other Democrat-run areas.
Well, yeah, and I think it could happen. I mean, they've had Republican governors there, too, so it's not, really crazy. I mean, but what are we going to do? I mean, what can you do to the people of Illinois? I mean, it's just an unbelievable mess.
Cut them off. Cut them off.
I don't disagree with that. I mean, look, I have all these people that come on my show, and I ask about, there's folks that just want to work and come home, provide for their families. They're tired. They're not, up to date on everything, and they're not really engaged. I live and breathe it. It's my job. But, I mean, what do you say to those folks that can't keep up to date with and don't realize how they're getting the wool pulled down over their eyes? I mean, this whole thing, I've been getting angrier and angrier now that I live in Tennessee, is the usurious real estate tax that people are getting smoked with in Illinois and New York and Connecticut and New Jersey. I mean, that's an unbelievable. I mean, that's just as bad to me as the inheritance tax. I mean, that is wealth confiscation again. And people just pay. I rolled over and I didn't even think about it. I paid it in Illinois. When I left Illinois in 2014, my real estate tax was like $36,000 a year. I can't imagine what it is today. But can you imagine, what are you paying for? And that's like $36,000. You're renting if you own it cash, you're renting it back off the government. It's insane.
And people don't realize because it's compartmentalized. This is the beauty of the scam as it exists. It's compartmentalized and you feel alone and you're told everybody's doing it and you just keep your head down and you want to do the right thing and you focus on your family and it's great. But at the end of the day, when you're 60 and this is the arguments I used to have with my lovely spouse and others. At the end of the day, you're far poorer for just not doing the right thing, which is abandoning it. Now, what happens? You have kids, right? This is who it really affects. These kids who are cultivated in this area, they think it's normal to rent their own property, to finance this corruption. And by the way, when we say this, they still can't funge out. They still can't balance their sheet. Every one of these areas is a sinkhole, or as I like to call them, a suck-on. Each state, whether it's Minnesota, 35% of that state is welfare. Illinois hides it because they have a math trick that nobody talks about. They call it balance of payments. But what it really is mark-to-market math from Enron. They're excluding all the liabilities and costs and welfare, and they're pretending because of people who are high earners like Ken Griffin and the rest of them who left, that they give more to the federal government than they take. It is the only entity that can lie to the people where the people can't lie to government. You can't lie to an FBI agent, but yet the governor, the lieutenant governor, the people who represent the state, they can lie to their constituents and say, yeah, there's a balanced budget. There is not. It's math fraud. And I think that's where you need to start. Consequences of math fraud, consequences of lying to the people. Because the way they exist is just federal bailouts. It's federal welfare in debt.
What did the lieutenant governor say? Was it something about the minimum wage? Is that what got you going?
Oh, I lost my mind. Because I sat with him at a wedding, affable guy. And, you could joke around with him or whatever. But, I don't think he ever did anything. And he said that J.B. Pritzker is promising to give. This is the other thing. What do you mean you're going to give? Who's the government? You're going to give who a living wage? And he said, we can give a living wage by raising the minimum wage. So you've negated the argument of capitalism from 1932 to now, 90 years. And this guy said, no. The governor, the Republican governor, what's his name, Yogi Bear, he's going to raise the minimum wage for the worker. So you're going to do the same thing every Democrat says you're going to do, number one. Number two, do you know why and how stupid that is to even make that argument? So that's when you have to realize these kids are done in Illinois. There is nobody fighting for them, for economic freedom, for small business to operate. They have the audacity. And you know what's going to happen, Scott? I'm going to tell you right now. Amazon and all these big companies, they're going to pull out. And these people in these Democrat areas, you do not deserve the convenience that capitalism brought you. Now pay it. Pay it all. And that's why you have to separate the numbers. You got to stop bailing them out because we don't do it with taking money from good states to bad states. You're doing it with debt. We're broke.
Oh, well, I mean, yes. And I did a story today on my show, another story about Chicago. Down in like 86 in Cottage Grove, they're shutting down a Walgreens. It's losing $1 million a year because of theft and dropping prescription sales. And they're mad at Walgreens. It's the local community is mad at Walgreens like it's their fault.
Corporate abandonment. There's a new rule. Corporate abandonment.
I mean, this is insane. You can't make anybody, take a loss.
Well, don't you remember years ago when we were talking about Obamacare and we would go arguments for forever? It turns the providers into slaves. It turns the doctors into slaves, the nurses, the hospitals. And that's what all these Democrat areas do. They turn the businesses into slaves. You exist because we need you to exist. And it's a government that can't run a municipality, can't run a street department. The Chicago Democrat city cannot run the street department, can't run the CTA, can't run the police department, can't run the fire department, can't run the schools. What can you do? If they were a business and we loaned them money and we're a private entity, we'd foreclose. I'd put it in a receivership. Everybody gets arrested. You're all stealing the frickin' money. I mean, but this is the only entity. There's no consequences. What are you going to do? We're just going to borrow more and pay more. Well, because you don't do it. Only the decent people in the country do. Because the states can't do it. The cities can't do it. The counties can't do it.
I'm just as sick of it as you are. Whomever gets elected brings their cronies, and they get a job looking after something, and they don't have any financial responsibility, or they've never had any financial education. That's just not going to stop. But the biggest scam, which makes me sick to my stomach of all time, what this recently done to people, and they're finally realizing it, and people are leaving because of it. But when I went to London, I lived in England for 16 years. When I got over there in 1989 or 90, whenever it was my first time I was there, and I'd never been outside of the U.S., got my passport stamped. I'm scared to death. I was a 24-year-old kid. And the guy, was an English Bobby behind the desk, and he said to me, son, when you do find a permanent place to live, I know you're in a hotel, you need to go register with your local police department. I said, oh, yes, sir. What? Okay, fine. And then he grabbed me by the shoulder and he brought me back. He says, you know why I asked you to do that? I said, no, sir, I'm just trying to be agreeable. I don't want to be in any trouble. He says, because we don't want people coming into our country and taking out of a pot they didn't put anything into. Yes. And now, but this is the deal. We are so you've got everybody coming to Chicago because it's a sanctuary city, using up all of the money, and they never put a dime in. And then the government comes back to the people that live in Chicago and says, we got to raise your taxes because we spent all your money on people that never put anything in. I don't understand why people can't make that connection, but it's theft, and it's unbelievable. And people, okay, we'll pay it. People are getting sick of it. You can't continue to raise your property tax because that's the last place of stored wealth in the country when it comes to Chicago and New York. But they've got to wake up. They gave away the money that you put away for your tax dollars to people that didn't put anything into the system at all whatsoever. And by the way, those people stole it and sent it home.
There's a Holiday Inn. That's exactly right. That's exactly what they did. There's a Holiday Inn by Midway. And this is a woman
I know where it is.
Lived in Chicago, right? So they packed it full of illegal aliens. And they took the COVID money and they paid for the hotel. Now the hotel's for sale. They want $20-some million, and they have the balance sheet that shows the revenue from the COVID money, the fraud. At the same time, the city of Chicago says tourism is up because they put all the illegal aliens in hotels. Now they pretend they're going to help themselves by raising the hotel fees, hotel taxes per room on people who would go to Chicago. And they're using the math that is frauded math from the COVID money to illegal aliens to do it all. So they're taxing government money, government gifted welfare money for COVID. They're pretending it's revenue. And it's mind-boggling that reporters, they don't talk about this. This is talked about on talk radio where people can think. But it's not talked about on television. They don't ever expose any of this. And then it's the same thing. I have a story that I didn't get to today, right? It's about this scumbag state senator who's also on the Illinois Gaming Board. He's on that. And he's got a PAC. And he gives money to the aldermen because now they're going to put the video gaming machines in the ghettos in the Chicago, because before they couldn't put the state games there, right? So when you look at what this is, this industry, ghetto gaming, sucks out in excess of $3 billion from Chicagoans or Illinoisans. $3 billion from just Illinoisans without Chicago. So when Chicago gets in, who knows what that's going to be? They don't tell you how many of those people who are dumb enough to put their money in the one-armed bandit are already on welfare. So once again, you're pretending that that's revenue, but let's say it isn't. That's money that would go into those communities and act as an economy. $2.7 billion into dope. Now, everybody who buys dope is on some form of welfare. in one form or another. And now you pretend that's revenue. They're high as a kite. It's amazing how they feed on the welfare and they pretend it's an economy. And they go lower and lower and lower. And there's no recognition of somebody saying you're pretending that government spending is revenue, and that's illegal. That's not real math. It's a lie. And that's what their economies are. And it's just like that in New York and New Jersey. It's the same bulldog.
Yeah, now they're going to tax dollars because that's what they think is going to help balance their budget.
You guys are doing great. These are three morons in a room with $10 apiece who keep handing each other $10 thinking they're making it. This is who you got. Moron.
It's mind-boggling, but it's also not mind-boggling. And I'm telling you right now, it's going to come to fruition. It really is, and it's going to be within the next 7 years, I think, because COVID really kind of sped up some of the disaster, and it's going to be uncovered where this is just this ruse. If I was king for a day, I'd go back to 2019, see what the budgets were, tell everybody they have to go. I would index it against inflation to 2026 and say that's your budget, take it or leave it. This is absolutely insane. We're spending so much money. We are out of our minds. It's going to end, and unless we take care of it ourselves, Mr. Market's going to make us do it.
How about all these guys that built their careers, family businesses, built it, did all the paid the taxes, and nobody's speaking up for them. Nobody. When you do not have opposition party to talk to you about financial realities and the result of not abiding by them, to not advocate for you and the right to keep your money, and you play the same game of the government distributing a living wage, the government distributing health care. Now you really are in the Soviet Union, where you want Lenin or you want Stalin. Which one you want? It's the same thing. You want Trotsky? Ooh, Trotsky. He was smart. He had glasses. All the same nonsense they delivered.
Knife or a gun. This happened over COVID, Shaun. This is where I really got angry. How do you have, you have the mom and pop Italian corner pizza joint that's been open for 4 generations since, 1886, and all of a sudden they're out of business, but do you keep these liquor stores open? How does that happen? How does that happen? And how does these people roll over and let it happen? There should have been people with pitchforks and flamethrowers out in the street.
And how about all the government workers that stole the PPP money? We got coppers and firemen, and they said they had a bakery. The one copper said she had a bakery. What bakery? You created in your basement. Another 40. It's just that really did break the back of America and capitalism. And do you want to know what else is funny? There was a big hearing today of a government CIA guy who said, listen, I saw the documents. They created it. We financed it. This was in Wuhan. It was a bioweapon. Not one Democrat. Did you see that? Not one Democrat went to the hearing. Not one. And that's the same amount of Democrats who are upset about the money that was stolen in Minnesota, in Illinois, and New York. So this is really the tale of two worlds, and that's why I'm glad that at least we can give these people hope by telling them this is what's going on, and unless you advocate for yourself, nobody right now in these states are advocating for you. It's just the reality of things, except a small few. And Scott Shallity, if you would have only run for governor, you'd have been perfect, Mo. Governor of Illinois. What are you, nuts?
Now that all the seats are reinforced, I can probably take over.
They're all reinforced. You got all the furniture. You got still the Pritzker slaves. He's got somebody rubbing his feet. He can't touch them. So it would all been great. You blew it. You blew it, kid. But you can find Scott Shallity on RFD TV every day from 12:30 to 1:30. Thank you, you handsome bastard. I can't wait to see you again. Take care of yourself. Give your wife a kiss, will you?
All right. Thanks. See you. Yeah.
We'll be back with your calls and comments.
He's Shaun Thompson.
Hello, Mr. Thompson.
And this is the Shaun Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer.
You need a construction company, but who?
Call Croscom.
A construction company you can trust that shares your Christian and conservative values. For decades, Croscom has been doing work in Chicagoland, Northwest Indiana, and Wisconsin. Roofs, siding, windows, doors, gutters, basically everything for your home or business, even solar. Quality work and professional services that make you feel great about your decision to work with Croscom.
Call Croscom.
630-871-5500. Give them a chance to earn your business. If your repairs are due to storm, fire, or flood damage, you need to
call Croscom.
They're licensed public adjusters. They work for you, not the insurance company. Croscom will work to get you the money you deserve, the maximum payout. They know the insurance companies and how to deal with them. They win for you.
Call Croscom.
Croscom Construction and Public Adjusters.
This is Dan Lights with Croscom. You can trust us with your home or business for high-quality work and fair prices. It's the only way we do business.
630-871-5500. CroscomPublicAdjusters.com.
Only a few short months ago, you heard silver was up 40%. Well, silver is now up over 260%. Fox Valley Coins saw it coming, and they're ready to help. Unlike dealers that only buy or only sell, Fox Valley Coins does both. No middleman. That means you get the best deal on the dollar. Selling? Fox Valley Coins pays top dollar for rare coins, scrap gold and silver, bars, proof sets, and entire collections of any size, going through every item right in front of you. Cash, check, or wire transfer. Buying? Fox Valley Coins carries all major gold, silver, and platinum physical products. Complete discretion. Your business stays your business. Fox Valley Coins. Family-owned integrity since 1981. On Route 59, one light north of I-88 at the Naperville-Warrenville border. Fox Valley Coins. Buy smart, sell smart.
If you're listening right now, chances are you're either worried about a parent living alone or you are that parent and you know your family worries about you. Either way, there's a great company that finally got senior safety right, Connected Caregiver. Connected Caregiver is everything you already know about senior alert devices, fall detection, emergency button GPS, but reimagined for today. A small wearable device alerts your family the moment something happens. Discrete in-home sensors, no cameras, no microphones, cover you even when you're not wearing it. And a smart pill box tells your family if medications were taken, all right on their phones. For the kids, you go from hoping everything is fine to actually knowing it is, even when you're across the country. For mom and dad, Connected Caregiver keeps you in your home on your terms. That's not losing independence, that's keeping it. Call 888-870-8020. A Connected Caregiver specialist who genuinely cares will help find the best solution for you. They'll even help check if you qualify for a free device. Call 888-870-8020, 888-870-8020.
Hey, this is Shaun Thompson. You know, most of us spend our entire lives in the paycheck mode. You work, you get 30% taken from the G, you pay your bills, repeat and rinse. And that's how time goes by. Then all of a sudden you're old. Retirement hits. Suddenly, you're the one who has to figure out your paycheck that isn't there anymore. Markets are bumpy, prices are up, things can get stressful real fast. That's why having a real income plan matters. Tom Fortino and the team at Alpha Wealth Group can help you build a strategy to turn your hard-earned savings into a reliable retirement income. They coordinate with your Social Security and your tax planning so you can stop wondering if you're withdrawing the right amount at the right time. Tom Fortino and the people of Alpha Wealth Group have been doing this for 30 years. They can help you by giving you a complimentary retirement roadmap. And all you have to do is call 630-864-6711. That's 630-864-6711. Or online at alphawealthgroup.com.
Mike Lindell and the MyPillow employees want to thank you for your great support this past year. They want to make 2026 the best year ever. So to thank you, they are giving you free shipping on your entire order and wholesale pricing. So they are bringing back the mega sale. For example, the classic MyPillows, regularly $49.98, now only $14.98. Turn any mattress into the best mattress ever with the made in the USA MyPillow My Mattress Topper and save up to $100. Get a set of MyPillow Giza Dream Sheets for as low as $29.98 or the 6-pack towel set for only $34.98. To get the best specials ever, go to MyPillow.com and use promo code LIBERTY or call 800-489-0201 and use promo code LIBERTY. These offers won't last long, so call 800-489-0201 or go to MyPillow.com and use promo code LIBERTY. Order now and your entire order ships absolutely free.
Patrick was way behind on his IRS taxes.
I was in way over my head. The total amount ended up being somewhere just over $30,000. $30,000.
Then the IRS came to collect.
Started getting letter after letter. A lien had been filed against me. They were going to basically hang me completely out to dry.
He had to do something.
That's when I reached out to Optima Tax Relief.
Patrick's life quickly got a lot easier.
It was very easy. Pretty much hands off, They picked up the ball and ran with it.
And how'd it go?
I couldn't believe it. I had to ask 2 or 3 times. I saved an incredible amount of money.
How does Patrick feel about Optima?
Couldn't be happier. They definitely helped me. Optima Tax Relief, the best place to call. They're the best in the business.
Do what Patrick did and call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-965-1433. 800-965-1433. 800-965-1433.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Thanks, Shaun. Good evening. I'm Mike Scott in the QC Kinetics newsroom. Clear with a chilly low of 44 later tonight. Several Chicago aldermen are questioning Mayor Brandon Johnson's administration why it's taking so long for Chicago to replace the gunshot detection system ShotSpotter. The system was shut down more than a year and a half ago. South Carolina's highest court has granted Alex Murdaugh's appeal for a new trial. Murdaugh's defense team argued his constitutional right to a fair trial was violated. U.S. students are performing worse than their peers were 10 years ago. New district-level test score data compared with a decade earlier, reading scores were down last year in 83% of school districts. Meantime, Chicago Public Schools are planning teacher cuts to help close a more than $730 million budget gap next year. The news, a service of Mattress Firm. Ready to upgrade to the perfect sleep setup? Let Mattress Firm's sleep experts guide you to the perfect bed at the Memorial Day sale. Top brands, ideal comfort, Mattress Firm. They make sleep easy. Your next news update comes your way at 6. Continuous news, traffic, and weather coverage at 560theanswer.com. Now with the latest from the AM 560 Traffic Center, here's Jill Urchak.
Here is the final look at the roads for this evening. On the Kennedy, downtown out to O'Hare, much better shape. It's about 40 minutes out to O'Hare from the Jane Byrne interchange, and the outbound Edens is still clear. The Kennedy outbound stop and go as well near Kimball Avenue from an earlier accident. In the outbound side of the Eisenhower, 50 minutes out to 390. Stevenson outbound trip, that is improving as well. 43 due Saba Lakeshore Drive out to 355. Dan Ryan outbound, 25 minutes. The Express are improving. To Saba Lakeshore Drive, though, still showing tie-ups either way. Tollway's not bad. This report is a service of Salem Surround, a local digital marketing agency providing high-performing digital solutions to surround your target audience. Go to surroundchicago.com today. From the AM 560 Traffic Center, I'm Jill Urchak.
Now, your official weather forecast from the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center.
Tonight will be clear and chilly with a low of 44. Expect Thursday to bring a mix of sun and clouds with a high of 67. Thursday night will be partly cloudy with a chance of a few late showers and a low of 53. On Friday, there may be a shower in some areas in the morning, but overall it will be partly sunny and breezy with a high of 73. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
Amazon Business. Discover smart business buying where unmatched selection meets AI-driven tools to simplify complex processes so you can focus on what matters most. Learn more at amazonbusiness.com.
Picture warm Gulf breezes, turquoise waters, white sand beaches. Now, add evenings of conversation with Salem Media's Mike Gallagher, Scott Jennings, Larry O'Connor, and Jennifer Horn. This November, sail from Fort Lauderdale to the Bahamas, Jamaica, the Cayman Islands, and Mexico on a 7-day journey built for those who love this country. Book your cabin today when you text the word cruise to 94878. Celebrate America's 250th anniversary the right way on the Gulf of America Cruise. Book your cabin now. Text the word cruise to 94878.
A revolution in chip technology could make today's artificial intelligence obsolete. 3 companies are quietly building a $1 trillion triangle to develop and manufacture supercomputers the size of a dinner plate. Investment guru George Gilder has his finger on the 3 companies whose technology could change tech forever. Log on to TrillionDollarTriangle.com to find out which 3 companies are working on what could be the biggest tech disruption since the internet. TrillionDollarTriangle.com. That's TrillionDollarTriangle.com.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios.
This hour of the Shaun Thompson Show is sponsored exclusively by DonleyAuctions.com. Old porcelain signs, gas and oil collectibles. Collectors are waiting. DonleyAuctions.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Venezuela and voter fraud. There are Venezuelan engineer whistleblowers who have provided your administration, my understanding is, with a lot of information and documentation alleging vote rigging in the U.S. elections, including in 2020, through an operation engineered in part by our foreign adversaries and centered in Venezuela. Are you familiar with this information, and is anything going to come of that?
Yeah, a little bit. And
Well, I'm familiar with voter fraud because we have a lot of it, I believe, coming up on the 2020 election. The 2020 election was rigged. You know, when I used to say that, they'd say, oh, the cameras would turn off. How can you say? Now they don't turn. The information, a lot of it's already out there. The election was rigged. It was rigged. You look at Georgia, you look at Pennsylvania, you look at these states, they were rigged. It was a rigged election. And they used COVID to do it, and they used crooked, dirty cops to do it. You know, they're dirty cops. Like you read about Comey. Comey's a dirty cop, bad guy, bad for the country, bad guy. But no, the 2020 election was rigged. Anytime you have mail-in voting, you're going to have a rigged election. Anytime you're not using voter ID, the Democrats don't want. They're fighting us on the Save America Act. Anytime you don't have, when somebody says we don't want voter identification, that means they want to cheat.
Jim Comey, dirty cop, daughter, prosecutor in New York City. This is Jim Comey, January 21st, 2021.
Convict him, bar him from future service, have the prosecutors, the local prosecutors in New York, pursue him.
Like your daughter? Like your daughter! Filthy scum Democrat.
For the fraudster that he was before he ever became president, lock him up for the garden variety frauds he did there, but don't give him that center stage, that dominant role in our national life just down the street from where Joe Biden is trying to heal this nation.
He's back, and you should be nervous, crook, dirty cop, scum. Chris in St. Charles.
Hey, thanks for taking my call, Shaun. I agree with you wholeheartedly about the politicians and government workers, anyone who works for the government in any capacity, if they lie within the scope of their employment, or if they attempt to exceed the scope of what the statute allows for their job and try to do more than they're allowed to do, even if you're like an NGO or anybody working on behalf of the government, there should be literal prison sentence for that. Just period. Hey, you don't get to exercise outside what is expressly allowed in the law, period.
Chris, this entire NGO scam and the money that goes into it from our policies was set up to be stolen. And you know why I say this, Chris? I'm a political junkie and have been since I was a little kid. When did you hear of NGOs in the late 70s? In the early 80s? In the late 80s? Even in the early 90s? When was the massive growth of billions and billions and billions of dollars into non-government organizations, as they're called, financed by tax dollars? And the answer is, starting quietly under Bill Clinton, under George W. Bush, and exploding under Barack Obama. And when you think, Chris, $67 out of every $100 bill was printed since Barack Obama became president, that's all the money that was stolen from us. And it's stolen in the wind. And now politicians can lie to us. It's legal. But if two feds knock on your door and say, Chris, you got sugar in the cupboard, and you say no, and you got sugar in the cupboard, you're going to jail for a year, brother.
Exactly.
That's when you realize we are slaves, and I don't like it. That's not my country, and it's time to get it back. That's why, Chris, it's hard to live where Democrats are in charge. Thank you, brother, for hanging on. I appreciate you. Dave, Libertyville.
Hey, Shaun, how are you?
Good. I'm actually very good.
Things.
Still aggravated about my friend, but I'm aggravated about my state, my old home state, my county. And it's aggravating to have people you love, not just listeners, trapped under Democrat thumbs. It's aggravating.
I agree. Anyhow, 2 points. I actually thought of something I was going to say last night was
You sure you thought of it?
Oh, jeez.
You forgot about it.
Yeah.
Write it down.
Yeah,
the hell's the matter with you?
All right.
No,
the thing I was going to say today was, on top of all the stuff that we have to do for the illegal aliens, is we also have to kowtow to them. You know, like it was.
Well, it's
telling,
funny you say that. The things we have to do. We don't have to do anything. We don't have to do anything.
Well,
you know,
I understand
listen,
this, but
the difference, Dave, that I hope to convey is that when you live in an area where the government not only frowns upon, but arrests and deports and charges illegal aliens, you don't ever hear what you have to do for illegal aliens. If you're an illegal alien in Florida, you're nervous. If you're an illegal alien in Tennessee, you're nervous. If you're an illegal alien in any one of the 11 states of the Boom Belt, you're nervous because the only way they can be the Boom Belt is by not enslaving American citizens to none or to anybody. And that's the key that you need to focus on. Thank you for the call. Please write it down tonight, what you want to say tomorrow. Greg LaGrange.
Hey, Shaun, how are you today?
Very good.
I would just say that the Comey introduction is one thing. We have to compartmentalize and go after people. We have a DOJ to go after Comey. If he's guilty, then arrest him and charge him appropriately. The problem I have, and there's a couple problems I have. One of them is we have people in our own Congress, the Senate particularly, that can't get their head around the fact that we want secure elections. They can't get their head around it.
No, they can. They just want to cheat. They can. They want the ability to cheat. If you do not support voter integrity, you want to steal elections. Simple.
The president said it's the Democrats. It's not the Democrats. It's the Republicans, too. It starts with the leadership. Here's my second point. In terms of what the president says and what he doesn't say, he should stop promising that the war in everything should be fixed in maybe a couple weeks, or Besson should say a couple weeks, month, 2 months. I think what they should do is clear point. What comes out of this Chinese conference is going to be very important. This will set the tone. If they come up with an agreement where they can trade and do these kind of things, that's fantastic. It'll help us. But the bottom line is we can never find ourselves in this position again.
Well, there's
fixing the problem. I don't know.
I want to address a couple things because I think you're right. Number one, China's a very big thing. Whatever happens, happens, but to a certain extent. But this whole thing about the war, I was listening to Dan's show this morning, and he had on a Republican named Ted Schneider who writes for the American Conservative, who is a fraud, who's a con artist, who is a Lincoln Project Republican. And he was talking about the Iranian military and the weapons as if he knew. And he was talking about the American as if he knew. But the broader point is he's the same kind of scum that sent $300 billion to the former Soviet Union and told us we had to do it. Sent the weapons and told us we had. Now he's worried about the weapons we blow in Iran. And here's the other thing when you want to talk to these scum idiots, Democrats or establishment Republicans. 586 people, Americans, were shot in Chicago this year. This year, 586 human beings, Chicagoans, Illinoisans, and Americans were shot in Chicago until 587 soldiers are shot in Iran. Iran is safer than Chicago. Shut your mouth if you ever voted for a Democrat. Shut your mouth if you supported the $300 billion in Ukraine. In fact, if you voted for Joe Biden, if you voted for Kamala Harris, if you voted for Hillary Clinton, shut your mouth till the end of time. What do you think?
Shaun, I totally agree with you. Right. And I find it again disturbing. Mike Scott comes back, great news break. 83% of the school districts in this country have scores that are going back in reading and all the basic skills. You're not going to fix this country if you can't fix our education.
Do you know the percentage of Chicago public school students that are living, that their family, their home, gets some sort of welfare? Do you know the percentage, Craig?
I don't even know. I do
85%. 85% of the kids who are in the Chicago public school system, their home is a recipient of welfare. That is a cycle of failure and a breakdown of principles. Sorry, but it just is. Thank you very much. I know it's circumstances. I guess everything's circumstances, except for the circumstances of the guy who loses 50% of his income to support the people who would never work. 312-642-5600.
He believes in freedom, capitalism, and individual liberty. And because of that, he's become an enemy of the state. He's Shaun Thompson, and this is the Shaun Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer.
You need a construction company, but who?
Paul Press
A construction company you can trust that shares your Christian and conservative values. For decades, Crosscom has been doing work in Chicagoland, Northwest Indiana, and Wisconsin. Roofs, siding, windows, doors, gutters, basically everything for your home or business, even solar. Quality work and professional services that make you feel great about your decision to work with Crosscom.
Call Crosscom.
630-871-5500. Give them a chance to earn your business. If your repairs are due to storm, fire, or flood damage, you need to
call Crosscom.
They're licensed public adjusters. They work for you, not the insurance company. Crosscom will work to get you the money you deserve, the maximum payout. They know the insurance companies and how to deal with them. They win for you.
Call Crosscom.
Crosscom Construction and Public Adjusters.
This is Dan Lights with Crosscom. You can trust us with your home or business for high-quality work and fair prices. It's the only way we do business.
630-871-5500. CrosscomPublicAdjusters.com.
Let Cole Digital turn your outdoor space into the ultimate entertainment setup. With a 75-inch SunBright outdoor TV that can stay out year-round and great sound throughout. Like planter speakers on the patio, high-quality rock speakers that blend right into your landscape, or bronze garden speakers that blend into the environment. Our technicians will dig a hole and install an in-ground subwoofer for incredible bass and the best in sound quality. We also install outdoor rated access points for Wi-Fi coverage throughout your yard, and cameras that let you keep an eye on everything with motion-activated recording. Tour our Cole Digital Design Center, 15,000 square feet of audio, video, and great design ideas. Cole Digital is family-owned by conservatives that share your values, and we're based right in Frankfurt. Visit Cole Digital today and schedule your consultation. ColeDigital.com. That's KOLE digital.com, or call 815-469-2000, and we'll bring the showroom to you. 815-469-2000. Cole Digital, what smart living is all about.
What happens when feelings replace morality? If right and wrong are just personal opinions, then who decides why violence, theft, or chaos are wrong? In his new book, If There Is No God, Dennis Prager tackles the biggest questions of good, evil, suffering, and justice, offering clear arguments for anyone searching for moral clarity in a troubled age. If There Is No God by Dennis Prager. Available now at PragerStore.com. That's PragerStore.com.
Most investments today feel like second jobs. Real estate, you're a landlord. Stocks, you're a day trader. Crypto, you're a full-time researcher. You've got a life to live. Your investment should help you live it. That's why more Americans are choosing gold. Noble Gold has helped thousands protect their future with real physical gold. Visit NobleGoldInvestments.com to get your free wealth protection kit. That's NobleGoldInvestments.com. Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals, including gold, involves risks. Consult with your tax attorney or financial professional before making an investment decision.
AM 560.
A friend of mine sent me a text. How many Chicago citizens pay more than $33,000 a year in taxes? Because that's what society is billed for a Chicago public school student. So maybe it's 100% if you think of it that way. But then again, Chicago wants you to believe it's not 85%, so they factor in charter schools, and they think they celebrate if they can get it down to 73%. They can't, as far as I'm concerned. It's a Soviet system inside of America, and it's a cancer that's bankrupting America. But it's still not as bad as around the world, because around the world, even though American Democrats and establishment Republicans would stand up for the theocracy of destitute desperation and tyranny like Iran, you won't hear this, but I want you to hear it on my show. You won't hear this on television, the boob tube. But you'll hear it here.
Executed an aerospace engineering graduate student, accusing him of spying for the CIA and Israel's Mossad. 29-year-old Erfan Shakorzadeh left a note saying the Iranians tortured him in prison for 8 months, forced him to give a false confession, according to human rights activists. Chief Foreign Correspondent Trey Yinks reporting live from Tel Aviv.
Martha, good afternoon. As the region waits to see if the war will resume, we are tracking the domestic actions of the Iranian regime. Iran's judiciary announced on Monday that Erfan Shakorzadeh was hanged for collaborating with the U.S. intelligence service and the Mossad spy service. The Iranians provided no evidence to support the claim, but said
they killed 7 people today. And what happened to the girls and their families from the soccer team? So when you see all the American Democrats pretend Iran is just a misunderstood government, they're a totalitarian hellhole, just the way they want you to believe Chicago should be. Cecil, We only got a minute. Wisconsin.
Hi, Shaun.
How are you, babe?
Hi, how are you?
Very good.
Good. So, couple of things. It's all about moving money. It's
Yes,
not
it is.
creating wealth. It's all about Karl Marx and what he wrote, right? And whoever follows it is really destined to go to hell because they never succeeded. So,
Yes.
right?
And here's what it accomplishes. It accomplishes another thing, Cecil. It accomplishes debt created in the future to guarantee that our future generations will be taxed because of the corruption of this time. So it's really a diabolical plan. And you know who let this happen? The opposition. The Republicans, Cecil, that were supposed to stand for something. Instead, they bowed for everything.
That is correct.
Yes. Thank you very much.
They had a chance. They had a chance here, there, everywhere when they were in power, but they didn't do it. Mr. Paul Ryan, for example.
Yeah. Paul Ryan, now you live in Wisconsin. You live in Wisconsin. Most people don't know.
I know him.
They don't know the mansion
I know
he
him
has.
very well. I used to deal with them guys.
Yeah.
They are just they just for themselves, and they just don't understand how to create wealth. And that's the
No.
That's
Thank
the
you,
biggest
Cecil.
problem, right?
We're up against the clock, Cecil. You know I love when you call. Thank you very much. Most people don't know he lives in a big castle. What was the only job, Megamind? Do you know this? Paul Ryan ever had only one job in the private sector. He drove the Wienermobile. Now you tell me that God didn't give Don Rickles God's sense of humor. That's exactly what I'm expecting. I hope he looks like Charlton Heston or Ricardo Montalban, but I want him to be as funny as I think everything is today in America. They're all ugly. They're all thieves. It's us against them. The good news is we are winning. We'll be back in 21. You know what really keeps me up at night? It's the criminals feel more and more bold. They have no fear of any consequences because there are none. So I did what anyone with a family should do. I called Goldilocks. They're not just some cookie-cutter security company. Goldilocks